Hello, people. Merry Sunday.
Hairy Sunday.
Hairy Sunday.
Hairy Sunday?
I don't have my teeth in because I have a ginormous ulcer in my mouth and it's very swollen and very sore, so I just can't be bothered. So, Sunday. Welcome to our regular viewers for our Sunday night campaign. Wednesday night went very well once again. Some great RP moments. If you are a member of the Discord, there would have a clip went up of actually a couple of clips have gone up on the Twitters and on the Discord. One of Het touching himself.
Yes.
And the other of Adok's chant, his ritual in the morning after being sort of caught out in a bit of a lie, so he had to sort of get out of it somehow. And yes, Cam's Adok ritual chant was actually kind of funny, but yeah, Het touching himself I thought was brilliant, so I had to put that up because it cracked me up. As Baz was the one that sort of giggled at it before anyone else.
As soon as I said it, I was like, oh crap, that was dumb.
But it was so cool and it worked very well. So we have, so I have re-switched cameras back over, so some of you might notice difference in cams. Some of you may not, but I've switched the cameras back around the way they were before. So this camera is going to look a little different, but you'll see I've got a blurred background here on the stream. I'm using NVIDIA Broadcast, so I can now do this as well. I can change my background without the use of a green screen, which I'm going to do that just now. I'm going to put up my Dungeon Master dungeon behind me. And you really can't tell the difference between this and a green screen. It looks very, very similar. The NVIDIA Broadcast has done a very good job of the background replacement software. So, anyone else have any announcements leading up? I mean, we are coming up to Christmas. Obviously, depending on how things go, will determine whether we continue right through Christmas, New Year, whether people are available away or whatever. So at this stage, Nutty will not be able to make next week's Sunday night game, as Hunter has kapahaka at the Bowl of Brooklands in New Plymouth, where we live. He's going to be performing in front of thousands of people, so several thousand people. His school is going out, he's involved in that. So Saturday afternoon, we'll take him to his dress rehearsal, and then Sunday night he'll be performing. So I'll still be here for D&D, but Nutty won't be. So we'll have to do something. She'll have to tell me what Namaris is going to do at the end of the show for next week.
We can always kill her off. It's all good.
Well, that's what I said. I mean, Namaris.
He said to me earlier, "I'll kill Namaris off." I was about to say, "Baz, is Claire Knight in it?"
I don't actually know. I don't think so.
I know Baz has his home game on the 19th, which will be our last one for a couple of weeks. I think he said, maybe, depending.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, it won't be the last one for the couple. It'll just be carrying on like every 2 weeks. So,
right.
So unless anyone can't make it.
There is one Sunday I am working, but I think I'm doing a day shift, so it's not too bad. Which is New Year, the week of New Year. But again, I'll let everyone know what's happening in advance, but we should be good. We may, depending on how you guys, basically it's up to you guys as players. If you guys are willing to continue right through every Sunday, right through Christmas New Year break, that's up to you. Let me know.
I don't have a life, so it's all good.
Well, neither do I generally. But
it'll be the next two that I miss.
Why the next two?
I'm lifeless.
Because the 19th, I've got 3 late nights in a row at work.
On a Sunday?
19th, 21st, 22nd, 23rd.
But that's not they're not Sundays, you don't work Sundays.
No, but I got the one day off and then I'm working the 3 days straight, so...
Yeah, but you're not working next, which is the 20th. So you're working late on the 28th as well.
21st, 22nd, 23rd, and
Yeah.
then normal 24th.
Yes, so that's one Sunday you'll miss, because the next Sunday
Yeah.
game is the 27th.
Oh, that's next week, eh?
Yeah,
Oh, good grief.
which is what I just said.
Eh.
So according to my calendar, we got the 20th, 27th, and then the 3rd for the Sunday games. The Wednesday games, however, we may change. We'll see again. We'll see, because we've got 23rd and the 30th. Again, depending on what you guys are all up to leading up to Christmas, whether you're going to be going away or whatever. If you're not, it's cool. We'll stick to schedule. Because I work again on the 15th, and I don't work again until the 31st.
D&D is my going away.
Pretty much for me too, dude. Honestly. So yeah. So at this stage, everything will run as normal. Roasted, what's up?
It's a chicken.
So as I say, at this stage, everything will run as normal. The players keep it on Discord or the Skype, and I will definitely let you guys know what's happening if any changes are made. But at this stage, everything will continue as normal right through Christmas, New Year. What's up, Mr. Chicken? So, without any further ado, I don't think we've got anything else we need to talk about, and we will get on with our story. So, last we left off, Ali rose early as the sun rises, but a strange mist hung in the air this morning. However, waking up with her new bow in hand, she attempts to try it out, draws, fires, and sets one of the targets ablaze with a crackling explosion, which wakes pretty much all of you. Het opening his window and hearing out while Neymaris runs to the training ground to see what's going on, ultimately tackling Elisandros, thinking something bad was happening, sending a stray arrow up towards Het's window. Luckily not striking Het at all, but striking the window striking the wall next to the open window, but sends Het diving for cover nonetheless. After that and dealing with that, you then descend, have breakfast, and discuss what had happened the evening before. Het explaining that he was able to scry on Kosis and someone else couldn't see in the room, and that they were planning some form of attack. As you were eating breakfast, the alarm horns sound across the city, and as you scramble heading out of the guild hall, one of you not able to actually leave the guild hall at this point until the removal of a certain piece of jewelry was appropriated. You make it into the street, and the guards and townsfolk are scrambling. You're then asked to head to the north gate to aid as the city is under attack. Once there, Ildri shapeshifts into a rock, taking Ellie with her, and lifts off. The rest of you scale the stairs towards the top of the city walls and man the ballista, the new style of ballista that the city has been constructing across the top of the city and for its defense. Once there, area is scanned, and you find several large flying creatures, leathery wings in the thick mist above, and several 8 or so large hairy red-skinned beasts pounding on the city walls. Het and Sadiq, firing ballista bolts from the walls, managed to take down several of the ground forces. Neymar, struggling with the ballista, however, decides that jumping from the city walls is the best course of action, and dives into the fray on foot. From the skies, Alessandros and Ildri attack, Ildri then deciding that dragon form, after the advice of Alessandros, was probably the best course of action here. So once transforming into dragon form, Alessandros and Ildri, with the aid of the ballista below, managed to clear the skies. During this time, however, several of the wyvern that were attacking the city were felled, crashing into the city below. Many of the bombing runs, as it were, as these wyvern flew into the city, firing large fireballs into the city, damaging homes, businesses, and buildings across the city. The walls did not falter. A few small breaches here and there from the large gorilla-like creatures that had attacked the walls, but they did not falter. They will need repairing, but they weren't overly too bad. As the battle comes to a close, Neymaris notices a single humanoid figure standing in the road about 100 feet from her. Approaching, getting closer, she realizes that this figure is Kosis in his humanoid form. Slight grin across his face, Neymaris stops, thinking better of her approach, sending a message through the earpiece to the rest of her allies. Sadiq, hearing this, fires a ballista bolt, one of the large, heavy bolts from these newly found ballistas, only to have it destroyed before reaching its target. He then turns and vanishes. As you trek back across the city, heading towards Coram Rodan to inform him of what you have seen and what has happened, you now can see the destruction that has been wrecked across the city. Buildings razed, smouldering, people scrambling looking for loved ones. The guards scrambling trying to help those in need. As you reach Coram's estate, you find him in his garden after being led there by his manservant. 4 bodies covered in linen lie next to him as he sits next to a large fountain. After a brief conversation, he asks you to leave him to tend to these people, which you can only assume are his family. As you head back towards the house, however, you are taken by surprise as a large explosion comes from behind you. And as you turn, you see Coram releasing a large, dark, crimson energy into the fountain, destroying it, sending it into dozens of pieces across the yard. Something you've not seen from him before. He informs you that he will contact you after he has sent some scouts out looking for more potential threats, as there's been word that there is possibly a larger force gathering somewhere in the realm. After leaving the estate, you head back into the city to aid those that may need it. You spend several hours digging through rubble looking for survivors, which you do find several, but you also find a lot of dead. The dead are taken out to the street, put onto carts, and dealt with in the appropriate way. Some sent to their respective temples to be have burial rites given and to be buried, others to be set ablaze on a funeral pyre. Those in the city that are less fortunate, that don't have families or that do not have anyone to collect the bodies, were dealt with by the city guard. A funeral pyre was built. A lot of those bodies were piled on top of it, and was set ablaze on the outskirts of the city, near the new barracks that have been built for the Dragonscale militia. Hundreds, even thousands of townfolk were there to send off these citizens of their city. They may not have known them, but they were there to respect their passing, as they were a part of this great city. You then return to the guild house, which has been turned into a makeshift triage of sorts, where many of the wounded were being treated. Seth milling around with bandages and hot water. Lionel also covered in blood, dealing with the wounded and tending to those in need. It is essentially here we rejoin the Lions as you have returned to the guild house, and towards the end of the day, a lot of the wounded have been tended to and sent on their way. There is no more wounded here, but the the guild hall, the tables have been laid out like operating tables and makeshift triage. There's blood on the floor, water, old bandages. Seth, exhausted, is sitting by the fireplace with a large tankard of liquid, most likely alcoholic. He looks absolutely wrecked. Lionel is there as well, in much the same condition. You guys have helped somewhat as best you can. But it's now over to you to discuss what you will before you turn in for the evening.
Well, this place is a mess.
Yildri's gonna go around trying to heal people with their cure wounds still, if I can.
Most of the people that were injured are now gone. Like they've been treated, but you could have done that throughout that course of that the last few hours, just helping treat the wounded, bandage wounds, cast whatever spells you had left to help aid them. As I said, Seth is sitting by the fireplace. He's absolutely wrecked. He's got his hair and clothes are drenched in sweat. He's just taking big gulps from his tankard. Lionel's standing next to him, taking a big swig from a large tankard of ale as well. They both look at you, don't say anything. They give you a respectful nod. But yeah, they look like they're about to head out. I mean, they're both absolutely exhausted.
I'll go up to one of them and kind of just do my lay on hands thing for 5 points for them. Just
neither one of them are wounded.
I've got.
Neither one of them are wounded. They're just exhausted.
Well, then I won't. I'll just throw some water in their face and say, "Get over it, people."
What time of day is it, DM?
It is evening, probably 7, 8ish at night. It's dark. This day has been a long day. You spent obviously the morning in the battle, the rest of the afternoon and early evening helping deal with wounded, finding the dead and the survivors throughout the city. You know from the extent of the destruction that you've seen today, you know it's going to be some time before the city is back to normal, but you know repairs will probably start to get underway very quickly.
Het says everybody. Het is pretty tired and worn out. His arms are quite sore from loading that thing. How are yours, Sadiq?
Yeah, I'm buggered.
I might call it an evening. Yes.
I think I might just have a shower and then throw a bucket of water over myself and go to bed.
What is this shower that you talk about?
Yes, you throw a bucket of water over yourself. Shower.
The Oliphants.
Like a bath.
The Oliphants drink up some and then spray it up in the air, and you just stand under it.
Yeah, that's another way if you're that lucky.
Okay, good night. I'm going up the stairs, and heads off.
I think I might go and ask somebody nicely if they can just have a look at my foot, because I think I may have broken something.
So who are you going to ask?
Go see Fiala and go, could you just have a little look at that for me, please? I think it's hanging a bit wrong.
How many hit points do you have?
61, and that's after healing.
Yeah, Namaris looks beat up. She is bruised. She's asked you to look at her ankle, and yeah, there's a bone, not quite protruding through the skin, but it's not. It doesn't look right at all. You're surprised she's able to walk on it.
Do like cure wounds on her and kind of like hold still and pop it back in.
That will hurt a lot.
I don't know what else to do.
You dislocated your ankle, and yeah, popping it back in was very painful. But the cure wounds kind of helped a little bit.
Ow! I'm gonna go up and find a bath and then go to bed.
Well, you all know where the Roman bathhouse is in the guild. I mean, the guild has its own Roman bathhouse.
You know what I mean.
Yeah. If
Gonna
you
go and have a bath and then go to bed.
So Namaris takes off to go bathe. Sadiq's going to go throw a bucket of water on himself and go to bed. That leaves Alessandros and Ildri.
I'm gonna go to my room and shut the door, and ice comes up under the doorway. That's it.
And leaving Alessandros by her lonesome.
Yeah, I'm going to my room. I take it I'm passing Audrey's room as she's done this, and
Yes, you
do I
will see that. You will see the ice. Well, you'll see like that. You know how you get a freezer door, that like in a freezer works or something. You go past the freezer door, and it just you get that little bit of cold air coming out from underneath. Looks like it's smoking. That's
Yep.
pretty much the effect you see as you walk past.
Yeah, I'd side would glance, going, okay, and go to my room.
So, with that, you all retire for the evening eventually. Sleep does find you all. I need Hit, I need you, and Fiel, I need you to both make wisdom saves for me, please.
$27 for me.
27.
22 for it.
Oh, big saves from you both. You both find sleep easily enough. Fiela, it takes you a little longer than usual to get to sleep, but once you get to sleep, you're fine. But the thought of the splicing of any kind of DNA or any kind of tampering with dragon kin is abhorrent to you, and it is very angering. To know that Kosis is allowing himself to be a part of that also is upsetting to you. On what level, I will leave up to you, but it's definitely having an effect. Hit almost in the same sort of light. I think it's more the fact that Yayla or Ildri was upset at the thought that this was happening. Is probably what upset you more. But you're still angry. You're still very much wanting payback over your family's death. And so again, having Kosis on the battlefield, having him that close to the city, has probably kind of set you off a little bit. You are able to get to sleep, but thought and the scry on him too is probably playing its part as well. The anger and that rage is probably bubbling a little bit more than usual. But you all do find sleep. You do sleep. You all gain the benefits of a long rest. Those of you that had exhaustion, which I believe was Hit and Sadiq, you both know that you'll need to probably get another full day's rest before recovering fully from it. The night's rest will certainly help.
I used a restoration.
You did too.
Remember.
Sorry. Yes.
Yep.
I do remember that. So don't worry about that. You feel fine. You wake the next day. About the same time as usual. You guys are usually fairly early risers. You wake. You come downstairs. You organise yourselves food and drink, and then the day is yours. Hit, one thing we forgot to do is your tabards did arrive, so you do have those
Yes.
to distribute at your leisure. But as you guys wake, the clatter and noise of people in the city is quite evident. Obviously, the repair or the starting of rebuilding some of these buildings and clearing rubble and that has started, and it started early, so you can definitely hear that kind of noise going off on the city.
Hit would,
Wait, go ahead.
sorry, Ellie. Hit would hand everyone a package, like brown paper with a bit of string on it with their tabards in. You know, oh, here you go, Ellie. Here you go, Fiela. Here you go. It's Sadiq, Namaris, and as they come down.
What's this, Hit?
Oh, remember I was getting us old tabards.
Describe the colours for us, Hit. I forget.
Hit is also looking through his notebook
I
to find
can't
out
remember.
what it was.
I think they were black and red.
I think they were
Yeah,
black
black
and red.
line on a red background.
That's
That's
right. I
exactly
think,
what it
Black
was. Yes.
trim.
that's right. Yeah.
And it was so we could be recognized. I think we were originally going with pink, but these are the black and red, and they've come up very nice.
So
Yeah,
they can be
although-
worn over top of your armor. They're designed that way to be over top of your armor. You put a belt around the center to stop them from flapping about. They're not like long like dresses. They come down just below sort of waist level, almost like a jerkin, but just a little longer.
So Ali doesn't know this, but Ali's one's a special one in that.
No,
That's,
no, it's
that's
not.
right. Yes.
It's not
But
special
Ellie
at
doesn't
all.
know.
Question DM, my bow, did it recharge or?
Did you go out and recharge it that evening?
I
You
would
said
have
you
set
went
it near
straight
the
to
window.
bed. You need to be out under the moon to recharge it.
Okay.
So no, it would not have.
Okay.
Yeah,
not a
you
problem.
need to. Yeah, you
Hang
need to
it
go
out
out.
the window.
You need to go out with it. It has to be in hand, and you have to go outside with it and spend time under the bright moonlight. Like, does it state a time on there? I don't think it does. It just says recharges in bright moonlight. Yeah. So you would have to go outside with it because it's attuned to you. You would have to have it in hand.
Hit is already putting his tabard on.
Probably go with 4 hours. Yeah.
I don't think it'd take that long. I'd say an hour. We'll make it an hour. So,
Yeah.
the day is yours. What are we going to do this day, ladies and gentlemen?
Well,
Seeing how Het was generous and all that, I'll go back upstairs or back into my room and put this thing on. I'm scared opening it though because of the practical jokes we like playing.
You go to your room, you open it, and it is a tabard. It is very well made. Looks cool. You put it on, you put your belt on. It's a tabard. It looks really well.
Awesome.
And they fit beautifully. They've been
Cool.
made specifically for each one of you.
Cool.
Do you all
So-
put your tabards on? So now you
Yes.
should not have too many hassles with the recognition of the townsfolk. Any plans for the day? Is there anything you guys wish to do?
Ildrid's gonna be
I
quiet today.
Okay.
Why is Ildrid going to? I'm going to drag her downstairs for moonlit, the mushroom moonlit.
You've already had breakfast. We've gotten
Oh.
through that part. You
Did I
pay
miss that bit?
attention. I've explained all this already. You've had breakfast. It's now after breakfast. We're not going to role play breakfast every day.
Aw.
Drag things out a little bit.
Hit will say, is there any plans that we want to enact? Are we in the middle of anything? I guess I know we've got a few days before the next thing. Well, I mean, a lot of days before the next thing has to happen, but we have some plans ahead, right? I take that as a no.
No?
I think most of us will be wanting to rest up after yesterday's fight.
I don't think we can spend all our time resting when we know what's going on, though. At this point, I would think, are we still on the hunt for Thorfey? Are we looking to, I don't know, find the next step in our path?
Yeah, I reckon we should go hunt for Thorfey.
I think that sounds like a good idea too.
At least, I mean, we could start doing some research, and like I said, I thought he could be on another plane at this point. I wonder if there's any way if we can, pinpoint him so much. I mean, I can scry, but we know that doesn't help pinpoint. Maybe we talk to go to the Arcanus and see if they can help us in some pinpoint mapping.
I think I do have a spell that if we find out what plane he's on, I can get us to travel there.
That is a good idea, Yildred. Are you okay today? You are a little, is there anything I can do?
I just deep in thoughts, I guess. So probably
Deep in
doing
thought.
stuff might help. Kind of focusing on something.
Oh,
Should...
sorry. Where you going, Amaris?
Oh no, I was just thinking, should we head over to the Arcanist and see if somebody can give us a hand?
I think that's a good idea. On the way, as we go, I'm just going to show Yildri here. I've made some adjustments to Scully. I tweaked this here, and he flips open the top and shows the compass, and I adjusted this, I twisted the little dial here, and now, oh look, it's just pointing to you. I told it to find the hottest thing in the room.
Kind of ironic.
Neymaris
since I'm
looks
nice
upset.
dragon. Oh,
I tweaked it specifically for my tastes. Apologies if it's
I
upsetting
tilt
to you.
Scully towards the Mars a little bit.
I signed Lovuticity to say they got us wrong, didn't they?
So it is at this point that a armored individual enters the guild hall. He is wearing the colours of the Dragonscale Militia, the dark blue and silver trimmed cloak with the white dragon's head on the back, and on the front of his plate armor is just the same white dragon's head. He walks in, spots you, Fiala, or Ildri. I'm going to start calling you Ildri from now because that's easier. Spots Ildri as he walks in, stands up straight, hand to chest, and says, "Commander, a word if you don't mind, if that is okay."
Yeah, you can speak freely.
Of course. We have word. Our scouts were sent out last evening on the orders of Coram, Lord Coram, and we have some news. There's a large force amassing towards the southern end of the Howling Mountains. If you would potentially... I think Coram wishes to see you, or Breton. Hang on a moment, and he pulls out a scroll. And says, Breton Hart wishes to speak to you in regards to this matter. You can see he's relatively nervous. Like, it looks like he's probably relatively new to the militia, and he's his first time meeting their Lord Commander or Lady Commander. So it's kind of he's almost got that fanboy look as well. Like, it's like, he's really cool to meet you, but he's trying to remain soldiery and just isn't quite getting there.
I give the salute back and say, "Thank you as you were. I'll report at once."
Right, yes. And he salutes again and spins on his heels and heads out.
They're relatively close by, so everyone heard that, like the team.
Yeah, everyone was in the room, so everyone would have heard that.
Looks like we have to go see Mr. Hart Breton now. So.
Well, that's fantastic. I guess we get to have our path laid out before us. We were discussing what we should be doing, and now we know. If this army is amassing, is that what he said? An army is amassing?
That's what he said.
That could be problematic if it's not one of ours.
Yeah, well, we are building an army as well, so I guess it depends on how the size of it out there. So.
Yes, the size always matters.
Not so much. We can always flank.
Well, that's also true. I mean, if you've got two from the side, it doesn't really matter how big the one in the middle is.
Gildra ignores and starts walking.
I went up to Ildri and I'm like, "I think you've got a fan," because he looked like he was about to faint.
I think it's a fan of all of us because, the lions and everything. So, I hope.
So, do you head out to speak to the captain of the guard?
I hope we'll wait for Yildri to do something before he does anything.
Likewise.
Yeah, I'm gonna gather up my stuff my halberd on, tie it, and start going.
All right, I am following.
So you head towards the city barracks, which from where you are, you got the Order of the Black Lion over here in the Rosefall Farthing, and you head northwest towards the Brawler's Cauldron Arena and the city barracks and the city dungeon, which is in, funnily enough, Hearts Village. It takes you a little while to get there. You've had to take a slightly different route, as there were some damaged buildings and some of the streets were closed while they clear, as people are working and clearing rubble to start the fix-up process of the city. The noises of construction can be heard all across the city. There's a lot of work going on to start rebuilding the damage that was caused from the previous day. You get to the barracks, and the guards that are stationed at the barrack gates don't even stop you. They wave you through, and you head towards Breton's office. You know where it is. You've been there several times. Welcome, Raiders. So once there, you're showed into Breton's office. Breton's sitting there. He's in full armor today. His wolf companion, Anvil, is sitting next to his desk in his usual position. And you can see he's standing at his desk, and he's looking at a map, which has been sprawled out on his desk. His weights on either corner, and he sort of looks up as you guys are shown in, and he waves you in. Come in. So you got my message. Well, it appears that this attack yesterday was almost like a test, if you will. Scouts have returned early this morning and informed me that we have a large force camped at the base of the Howling Mountains. And it looks like they've been there for a couple of days, possibly. So, we've had the mages do some scrying spells this morning, and this is what we have managed to glean. The force looks to be approximately 5,000 to 6,000 strong. A mixture of orc, goblin, ogre, and some other creatures that we think may be similar to the creatures that attacked the city walls yesterday. It seems the leader of this army is a Yuan Ti. I'm not sure if you're familiar with this race. Have any of you heard of the Yuan Ti before?
I think vaguely.
Hit, roll a history. Ilgi, roll a history. Actually, everyone roll a history if you wish. Everyone roll history. See if you've heard of the Yuan Ti race. 14 for hit. 14 for hit. Hit, that sounds familiar, but you're not 100% sure. Ildri.
6. Ildri is not probably.
You got no idea. You are preoccupied and are not sure. Sadiq.
I got 18.
18. You have read about the Yuan Ti. You've never met any personally. You know that they are a snake-like race, or they can appear humanoid, but sometimes have snake-like features. Some have snake bodies, others have like humanoid features with snake bodies, or humanoid bodies with more snake-like features, but they are a snake-like race. Alessandrus.
I got no friggin' clue what they are.
Your roll was shit, so you don't know.
7.
Neymaris.
History is not my strong point. I only rolled a 10.
You've probably read about them as well, but you're not 100% sure. You've never seen one. You probably glossed over it in a book once, and you don't really recall a whole lot about them. But Breton sort of says, and are any of you familiar with the UNT? And sees the look of recognition on your face, Sadiq, and says, or at least one of you have an idea. For the rest of you, they are a snake-like creature. Sometimes they can appear humanoid, and they may have forked tongues, snake-like eyes, or they may be more snake-like, depending on a lot of circumstances. But I believe the leader of, or the general, if you will, of this army is a UNT by the name of Soma Seti. A ruthless individual. We have had dealings with him in the past. Sword for hire, if you will. But if he is leading this army, you can be rest assured that they will not be, how we put it, it'll definitely be a force to be reckoned with. He is a very shrewd individual. And if yesterday's attack has weakened the walls in any way, then you could almost be assured that that's where they will attack at the weakest points. So, we have the Dragon Scale Militia at our disposal. I propose that you take a small battalion, 1,000 men, and investigate. And if you are able to either capture this individual, or if you are unable to capture, remove this individual from his position. Either way, without him, the force shall be without leadership and would probably scatter if we were to attack them with the rest of the militia. The options are yours. If you wish to a more stealthy approach without additional forces, this is also an option. As I say, you are familiar with the Howling Mountains. You've been there before. So they are camped at the base of the mountain, which is about 2.5 days' ride from here.
And our forces, are they going on foot, I take it, or do they have cavalry?
We do have several cavalry, but probably 500 at this point. I don't know that that would be the best option, as I think horses would be definitely alert, depending on how close you get to them, of course. But maybe a more stealthy approach would be the best option. I will leave the details to you.
We could always do a two-pronged attack.
This is also an option. We do have to be aware that if we do attack them openly, that a lot of lives will be lost in the incursion. But if we are successful in removing the head of the snake, as it were, then the rest of the force should break and scatter.
It doesn't mean to interrupt, but we do have to be aware too that if they're amassing an army 2 days, is it north of us at the south of the Howling Mountains?
Yes, about northwestish, yes.
Then if we can see that, and that they must be, they must know that we're aware of their presence. What else, if we head off there and send our force there, are we leaving ourselves open for an attack from an opposite side?
I mean, I would assume that they have their scouts also. We do not know that they know that we know that they know that we know. But the scouts that were sent were the best. They were from the Scorpion. We are using the Scorpion for its intended purposes, spies and such, and they are very good at what they do. I believe you are familiar with one of them, name of Garrick, I believe. He headed the scouting party. So I would assume that Soma and his forces do not realize that we know exactly where they are at this point. But if they do, we don't know if they're expecting an attack or any kind of infiltration. I would have to assume at this point that we have the element of surprise.
I would say never assume, but as long as we don't put all of our force there and we keep enough here to defend the city,
I'm not sure if you've been out to the barracks at all since the completion. We completed the barracks, the makeshift barracks 2 days ago. It is 8,000 strong at this point, and will only grow stronger. We intend in the future to have 10,000 men at our disposal, and a more permanent fort to be built in the coming months. As we've also had word that the city of Gatton, the city of Beaufort, and the city of Arnis have also a contingency of the Dragonscale militia also very large. A lot of volunteers have been pouring in from across the realms to join and protect our fair realm.
Good. Yildri, do you think it's maybe fair that the 5 of us lead a team of this Dragonscale militia of yours to meet these people at the foot of the mountain? What do you think?
I think it's a good idea. Probably on foot is better for stealth reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we can cover our weak points back at home, yes, with maybe 1,000?
Yes, we have enough men to prepare in case of what you fear hit. If we fear that they will use us a distraction, this is a distraction and they move as you move, we have enough forces here to repel an attack. I mean, they are a large force, but I believe with the city guard, the remainder of the Dragonscale militia, and obviously the mages here, we should be able to mount a relative defense. We are working quickly to repair the small damage that has been done to the walls from yesterday's attack.
Okay. How soon can these 1,000 men be ready at the...
They will be ready whenever you ask them to move. They are trained to be ready. A lot of these men were former military and rejoining military, and a lot of young men have rejoined and have been training over the last several weeks. And I have inspected these troops, and I'm impressed. They are well trained.
Fieva?
Yeah?
What's your movement speed as a dragon?
I have to go to it. It is 40 feet, and I can fly 80 feet.
So with that, so how quick could we get there in your dragon form? It's a 2-day ride, yes?
Yes, 2 days ride on dragon. From memory, the way we've been running it is you would be able to cover that 2 days in the air and probably between 7 to 10 hours, depending on the weather.
What if we took a roundabout, not so much scout ahead, but a roundabout route, like not directly there, but around flanking, drop some of us off for a stealth position. You come back, that way you lead the rest of them up.
We can do that. Brighton, can you relay those?
Of course. If you're wishing a two-pronged attack, I say we can send the men straight there to maybe create a diversion, attack them from the front, while you stealth in and potentially take on Soma, which he will be guarded. He will not be alone, I'm assuming, but probably easier for you to go in that way and either confront him, kidnap him, or remove him, shall we say.
It's also, if their spies see Yildri fly off in a different direction, I'll probably get the idea that she's gone elsewhere, hopefully.
True. This could definitely work to our advantage.
Good thinking.
I never thought you were such a shrewd tactician, Alessandros.
No, she just
For such a young one.
We got her a lot of books for her birthday, so she's probably been,
I mean, I would have expected this from you, Sadiq. You seem more of the soldier type than the young lady here.
I've been training her.
It's been rubbing off, I see. And Nomaris, I thought you would have spoken up as well. You were very clever in the city guard, but you have nothing to offer.
No, I'm just listening. You sound like you knew what you were doing.
You were never one just to sit back and listen. You were always very vocal.
She's had a lot of trauma. Yeah.
I haven't been able to hear a lot of it because the sound's been going a bit weird.
Then it's on your end.
We have used all our earrings of sending, haven't we, Ollie? I think we get the last one to bash, or do we have an extra? We would communicate to the head of the army.
We have an extra.
So we could give one to the head of the army.
They only have a
just
range
to
of
relay.
120 feet.
Yeah.
They're limited by range.
Wonderful.
However, if we're on a dragon, isn't that going to alert those who we're trying not to?
Yeah, but they're looking at us, and then suddenly they're going to turn around and look at the other people. Although at the same time,
It's called misdirection.
Ali does it all the time with traps.
Yeah, exactly.
What falls into them? What?
No, she misdirects the trap into thinking that it's actually trapped her when she's trapped it.
Right. I get what you're saying now.
I can always go by Raven and go give a message and come back.
How are we going to ride a raven?
You aren't, but if I need to tell the other army down
Well, I mean-
below,
It doesn't mean to sound silly, but we could just go to the Arcanus and buy some sending scrolls, like we did last time.
or that.
We could use a raven to fly the message, but they're such a tasty treat. Why waste them?
I think Fiala was talking more about she would be the raven.
Oh, sorry, Fiala. Yildri. I like Yildri better than Fiala. Why are we doing this? Why are we giving you two names? Should we just?
Because she's known by two names.
But it's all out in the open now, right?
It is.
So, I find calling her Fiala more.
You like that name better? That's fine. Nonetheless, I thought she was meaning to send a message by Raven, and I'd rather. Not that I wouldn't eat you, Yildri, but
Hit.
yes.
Just stop. You're not.
Yeah,
You're just not making it any better.
you've already gnawed up to your knee. You might as well just stop.
Nonetheless, I can acquire some scrolls of sending. I can head out and go get them shortly if you guys wish.
That might work as well.
That would be good.
I will make a note in my notebook.
All right
Note in
then.
your-
I shall send word to the General Ludinus over at the Dragon Skull Militia of your intentions. If you wish to go see him before you depart, if you wish to give him more details or even just meet him, I'm not sure if you've met him yet.
General Ludin? Is that what's that his
General Ludinus.
name?
Ludinus. L-U-D...
Rudeness?
Ludynnis.
Didn't want to mispronounce that. Yes, that would be good. It'd be good to meet him. All right. Well, Head has to go do that, and I guess I'll go and meet, and whoever wants to go with whoever. We'll meet up at the gate.
Yeah, Head will meet you at the gate. Head has some things to grab from his room first.
Right.
And Head heads back up to his room.
You'd have to go back to the guild house first.
I thought the dude walked into the guild house.
No. You guys went to
We went to
Bretton's
Bretton.
office.
Oh, I went to his office. My bad.
So you go back to the guild house and back to your room. Ildri, you were going to the Dragon Skull Militia barracks to meet General Ludinus. Where were the rest of you going?
I'll probably go with Fiala.
Right.
I'll go with Shayla.
Aleshonus.
I'll go back to the guild house and start prepping.
Okay. So, Hit, you wanted to get some scrolls of sending as well?
Yes, the reason Hit went to the guild house is important. And if Ali's coming along, he would say, Ali, come up to my room with me for a moment. Not for anything lewd, might I add.
Okay.
He picks up Scully from his bed, or from his pack, and he says, I am going to scry on this General Soma and see what we can find.
Have you have no idea what Soma looks like, do you?
That's a good question. I was about to ask DM. We know his name.
You know
He's
his
been
name, I
described as
think.
a snake person. Is that
Yeah,
enough
I
to go
don't
on?
think it. You could try it, but I don't know that you would be successful. Would have to make a roll on it, I think.
Okay, otherwise, Well, Ali, do you have a person you would like to scry on before we leave then?
No.
Alright, I'm going to try for Thorfy then, someone I know. Just see if I can get a better bearing on him before we leave. I hate wasting the uses of this thing. It's once a day, you know. I feel like I should be using it once a day. So here goes.
And he concentrates on Thorfy and sees what he can see.
Right, so let me see here. As you concentrate on Thorfy holding a Scully in your hands, the eye pointing outwards kind of creepily, Aleshonda says, you look on. You watch Hit's eyes roll over white. I mean, his eyes are pretty pale anyway, but they literally roll back in his head. And your consciousness is lifted from you, Hit. You literally goes through the ceiling of the guild house into the clouds, and then starts traveling at great speed. A little disorientating. This is only the second or third time I've done this, so it's still a little weird. But it travels through the clouds and then into darkness, and then it travels once more, and you're now focused on again a bit of a forested area, not dissimilar to what you had seen previously. What strikes is a little strange. The little campfire is still there, but it's not burning at this point. And as your focus sort of clears, you see a figure standing, hood up, hoods down over their eyes. You know it to be Thorfy though. The features below the hood, his chin, the angular elven features, the long grey hair that hangs down in front. He's standing with his back to you at this point, and you hear him say, "They have no idea what is happening, and it is best we keep it that way." You don't hear another voice though. You're not sure who he's talking to. And he then turns, looks, and you can see it sort of turns upward and looks up towards where your scrying focus is, and has a bit of a confused look on his face. Looks back, didn't look like he'd noticed you like he did last time. And then he says, all in good time. When the time is right, I shall reveal all. But not before. And then he turns back to the fireplace. You see him kneel down. And then it's at this point he waves his hand. That confused look comes over his face again, and he looks up and looks directly at you once again. And clasps his hands in front of him. It appears my friend is back. What to do with you, he says. If you are known to me, send me a message, and I shall reply. If you are not, I shall find you, and find out what you want. And then he snaps his fingers, and you are thrust back out of the sky.
I was going to say hit drops the sky as well, so either way we fell out. Oh, Ali, was that good? Did you see anything?
See what? What was I meant to see?
Oh, just like last time I did this, I got chucked across the room and hurt, but you didn't see anything happen to me, so that's cool. Safely
You got chucked across the room?
Oh yeah, I was scrying on Kosis. That guy, it was like, man, he was like, fight fire with fire, boom. I was out the back, across the room, spinning, I was bleeding. It was pretty cool, actually.
Awesome. So,
It didn't happen.
how was it this time?
It was good, so I'll let the others know too, but basically, Thorfey was talking to himself, someone, I don't know, no one was talking back. He was, I need to write it in my notebook quickly, and Hit pulls out his pearlescent, beautiful scaled notebook that Ildry got him, and he starts writing everything he can remember down quickly so he doesn't forget it.
No problem.
And then he says, right, Ali, I had to grab a few things, you've got to grab a few things. I'll meet you back downstairs and we can meet up with the others. Unless there's something else you need?
No, I'll just doing prep my room.
Excellent. And that's it for us, thanks.
Right, so
Unless Ali wants something.
Unless Alison has something specific. Nope. Cool. So back over to the others as you head out towards Western Gate, and as you leave the Western Gate, you do see a large, very large fort that has been built on the western side of the city. At this point, it is very much a temporary thing, so it's all large, like log fences with sharpened tops, not unlike you'd see around sort of England in the sort of 12th, 13th century. It's like a temporary fort. It has towers, it has catwalks, you can see guards sort of wandering around the top. Out to one side, you can see a large group of men, looks like they're training with bows and crossbows. They're all armoured up, a mixture of the bowmen look like to be wearing leather type armour. The heavy crossbowmen seem to be wearing chain armour, a little bit heavier armour because they don't need to be as mobile. You then get further around, and as you approach the gates of this large barracks, the guards at the gate come to attention, and they stop you, spears out across the top, and then they recognize the tabards firstly, and then they recognize you, Ildry. They've seen who you are, and they instantly snap back to attention. And then you hear from behind the gate, you hear this guy yell up to the gate, "Open the gate! Lord Commander coming through!" And the gates open, and you see walking towards the gate at this point, and a man with a couple of guards flanking him. This man is very tall. He's probably about 6'2", 6'3". Looks to be half elven. He's got long dark hair braided back on the sides, sort of tied back to keep it out of his face. He's wearing not wearing it. He's got a helmet under his arm, which he then puts on. So it's a plate helmet. Got the nose piece comes down over his nose, and it's got sort of like a Roman sort of brush on the top, but not as tall, like very short. But it's done in dark blue. He's wearing the cape of the Dragonscale Militia, the blue with the silver trim with the white dragon on it. His armor is a dark plate armor almost dark grey with the white dragon on the front, but it's trimmed in bronze. And he walks towards you. He's got strapped across his back to a large two-handed broadsword. And he walks up to you and nods to the guards. They carry on elsewhere. And he walks directly up to you and says, "Lord Commander, General Edwin Lunidus, at your service." And he salutes, hand on chest, and gives you a sharp sort of head bow. Who did I lose? I lost someone.
I think Nettie
I lost
restarted
Baz.
her schedule. Oh,
I mean, he's still there, but I lost the video.
good afternoon, General Ludness. This is Sadiq, my fellow Lion teammate, and Nemaris.
Yes,
Also a
I'm familiar
fellow.
with you all. I have been given detailed dossiers on everybody. It is a pleasure to finally meet you, Commander.
I'm sorry we've been too busy to come earlier, but
Of course, no problem. We have been training hard, as you can see, and as you look around here, you can see a lot of foot soldiers, long swords, training dummies, and you can see them, they're going through the motions of a training day.
Would I be familiar with Mr. Ludness from
No.
my time in the guard?
No, he's not from the city of Boulogne. He's not someone you've met before.
Bretonhard has given us the message about the incoming
Ah, yes, of course.
Somarsetti, and we're here to see if you have any other added input.
Well, of course, depending on how you wish to approach, if we are looking at a more direct attack, I would suggest probably half our forces, 4,000 men, 1,000 bowmen, crossbowmen, foot soldiers, lancers. But that would, if we were to take heavy losses, of course, then the city would be in not dire straits, but would be left to would have to rebuild and replenish our ranks. But if we were to take maybe 1,000 men and push forward to this army, and you were to then take a more stealthy approach, we would attack from the front. We would take losses, but I think these losses would be acceptable. If we were to then thwart the intentions of this UNT leader and his army. It is believed that he works for Kosis or for Asmodeus, or both. So this is either a force to weaken us, or a force to test our defenses once again, as they did yesterday.
Right then. Mr. Maiden is getting some scrolls that we can contact the forces below as we go around for a stealthier approach.
Of course,
So
we do have a few mages, battle mages, with our militia, and a number of clerics, which we always carry. So if you are able to send a message, I will give you the name of one of the mages, and he will be with your contingent. This mage is a friend. I've known him for some time. Audryn, Audreyn. Audryn Villey, Villey. Audryn is a capable mage, a dwarf. I know it's odd for an elf and dwarf to be friends, but we have known each other for some time and have been on many battles together.
Right. Let him know we will be contacting him if things go. However things go.
Audryn will be leading the 1,000 men.
All right.
Capable mage, battle mage, very capable fighter as well, but a more than capable leader.
All right. Sadiq, do you have anything you wanted to add?
No, it seems like everything's under control.
We'll leave you to it then. I just wanted to meet you face to face and take a look across the barracks, see how it's going.
Yes, as you can see, I mean, a makeshift barracks is temporary, but as the months move on, we will be constructing a more permanent fort here with the intent of holding 10,000 men and women. So then if anything happens and we are needed, we are right here, as you've probably been informed that the contingencies of the Dragonscale Militia are across Paradigm. Many of the larger cities have their own barracks and forts being built and their own forces being trained. We suspect that in the coming months we should have 20 to 30,000 soldiers at our disposal. Enough to repel any sizable force, wherever they may come from. And then he bows sharply again and salutes. And is there anything else, Commander, that you wish of me?
No. Well done, General. Looks very well put together so far. Look forward to seeing
Thank
what
you,
it
ma'am.
becomes in the future.
Appreciate it. We've done a lot of hard work to get us here. Let's hope it is not in vain. And with
I
that,
do the salute. Yeah.
okay, he salutes once again, and his salute's not directed directly at you; it's directed at everybody that's with you. And he then spins on his heels, very, very military-like, and starts walking towards a group of soldiers on training dummies, and you hear him shout to probably a sergeant or something, "Tighten up! Too loose! You need to tighten up around the shoulders." You can see one of the guy's armor's come loose, and you can see he's struggling to move, so he stops and adjusts his armor. You can see he takes a close watch on a lot of what's going on here. He's not one of those commanders or generals that just sits behind a desk and does a lot of that, so he seems fairly hands-on. So you leave the barracks and head back towards the city. By this point, as you guys probably get back to the city, Het and Alessandros will be making their way back towards meeting you guys, knowing where you were headed, so you'd probably meet up roughly sort of halfway.
DM, if you can just Het would like to have bought 5 sending scrolls during that time as well.
Okay, so 5 sending scrolls. I'd say you probably need to buy 1 or 2 because they've got 3 charges each.
Oh, right, okay.
So
So
say 3 at say 250 gold each.
Okie dokie. I'll do some math here.
I believe you do have party funds available if you do so need.
Oh, I've got enough. I have to change currencies from platinum to gold.
Oh right. Good.
But that is a good point. Ellie, what's in the party funds?
How much you need?
Well, I'll pay for 250, and if the party can come up with the rest, because I assume we'll use it for everything, for all of us. So another 500.
How about you put that coin away, Het, and I hand you 1k gem.
Okie dokie. Done. Sweet DM.
So you're gonna try and pay with a thousand gold gem.
No, I'll do all the running around and get it broken up into
Okay.
gold and stuff before.
Sounds fair. I'll allow that. That should be fine.
Right, so 750 gold for 3 scrolls with 3
Man,
charges each.
Skype is really playing up tonight. Holy Jesus.
Yes, it is.
Scroll of sending. Sweet, thank you, DM.
Because Michelle, your camera's gone all weird now too. And it's definitely Skype. It's not anything else.
And the sound's all up. Shoot.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, I'm not getting any sound issues on my end. So I'd say that last update's really screwed with Skype. That's weird. Very weird. Anywho. Just give me 1 second, chat. I'm going to drop out and re-drop in because Michelle's camera is black and white with red splotches all over it. And that's what's showing up on the stream. So I'll be right back. There we go.
See, yours is gone as well.
I'll go on black and white.
Oh, now yours is gone. Jesus Christ.
It's you. Every time you
I
leave,
fixed
it
one.
fixes itself.
I fixed one and the other's gone shit. But see, you left
Yeah,
last
you just
time.
need to bugger off.
You left last time and it fixed itself. So I don't know.
Well, it's still showing the same up on my one for Yanti too. She's still black and white with red, not
Yeah,
orange.
that's so weird, eh? It's definitely Skype's. It's not anyone in particular.
I'm wondering if it's actually the Skype background thing
Could be.
that's causing it.
Could be.
Oh, might be. I'm gonna turn mine off.
try
so I
going
keep
to-
losing my face.
Yeah, try going
Yeah.
to a blurred background and see what happens.
Might do that.
It could be that, actually. Nope. It's still weird colour.
Well.
Oh,
We're
well.
just gonna have to deal with the funny colours.
Yep. Sorry, chat. Looks like Skype is having some issues. I have contemplated going back to... we'll take a short break at that. I think we'll call it... We'll take a short break there and see if we can solve these issues. We're not too far from break time anyway. So when we come back, we will be... You guys meeting up as you're heading back and see if we can solve some of these problems. But chat, we're back. Right, we're live again. I'm not waiting for Nutty. She can hurry up.
Rule of thumb.
So, looks like this audio-visual issues that we're having, guys, is Skype. There's not much we can do about it. It's obviously something happened in the Skype thingy. But Michelle, turn your camera off and on again. It should fix it.
You plugged it in at the wall and unplugged it.
Yeah, pretty much. Have you plugged it in? No, it didn't fix it. Never mind, just leave it. Shit happens, but it's going to deal with it. So it doesn't change it there. It's interesting. It's just so weird. Right, chat, we're back. So guys, you, Fiela, Namaris, and Sadiq, you are returning from the barracks, the Dragonscale Militia barracks, and head back towards the city. As you reach the city gates and make your way through the city gates, Het and Alessandros join you. By this time, we're approaching probably lunchtime, with all that you've done with the shopping, a little bit of shopping, and all the information you've gotten. We're probably approaching around midday. But you are now back together.
Oh, hi, guys.
Hey.
How was General Lewdmouth?
He was General Ludicrous.
Ludicrous.
He was very nice. It looks like he's got things running very smoothly. And I have a mage for either of us to send messages named Audrin Villy. Villy?
Yeah, Audrin
He's a
Villy.
dwarf.
Ah.
He's the one to contact.
Oh, well, I've also got some sending scrolls. I've got 10 charges because I had one left in my backpack. So it should be a good run for now.
Okay.
What was the army like with their dwarves and elves and Goliath and Dragonborn? What were we looking at?
There's elves, half-elves, some dwarves. It's pretty diverse.
You did see a few. It wasn't many Dragonborn, but you did see a few, and it definitely mixed race. It seems that all the races of Paradigm have come together to, as say, farmers. A real mixed bag of people. Some that look like they've had come from military families. Others that are pretty novice, but again still training. But it looked fairly impressive from what you could see.
They're all coming together under one banner, which is nice to see. Common cause. So.
One thing you didn't see was Goliath, though.
No Goliath, though, unfortunately.
Oh, they're such good warriors. Very big. Their axes drive through everything. No offense, Sadiq.
I use a sword. It's Namaris that uses the axe.
Oh, it's so confusing.
She uses a
I
sword
have my
too.
swaps.
See, even you don't know.
It's very swaxy.
It's very, very swaxy.
Smack people with it. You know. Knock
The
them out,
dull end.
squash them. All good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Swax, which he uses like a sledgehammer.
Smush
Or
them.
a mallet. A war mallet.
So,
So
it is up
the
to you
general
what
happy
you
with
do.
your plan, Yildri?
I think so. He gave some pretty good advice. Showed the. I feel like we're just gonna go around and, like Ali said, take a path where they think we're going away. Come back and scout. So, Ali, how good's your trap finding? Is it better since the birthday gifts? I mean, you're ready to go.
Yep, ready to go. Trap finding, I don't know though.
You'll be fine. So just say the word and I will be ready for flight.
So you prepare yourselves for another travel by Drake as Ildri transforms into the silver white dragon. You utilize the rope harnesses that I dare say you've probably made a more permanent style fixture, kind of rope style harness that you can all hold on, rather than just tying up the same rope in random sort of fashion every time. You ascend into the mid-morning sky and are on your way, leaving towards the north, more probably northeastish, heading away from the Howling Mountains in an attempt to deceive any potential scouts or anyone watching, to make them believe that you're heading away from the city and away from their camping spot. As you leave, you sort of take off, and as you take off, you see a group of armored individuals start heading out towards the north, which you assume is the Dragon Scale Militia battalion that has been put under your control for this particular incursion, and they are heading northward towards the Howling Mountains. They are traveling by foot. It will take them 2.5 days to get there, if they have no delays. The weather is relatively fine, a little light cloud, nothing too serious. But you take off. Your first 5 hours of travel, which takes you far towards the border of the Howling Mountains and the neighbouring county, without too many hassles. You see usual. I mean, you're not really looking for too much at the bottom, but as you're heading out towards the Daigar Forest and towards the Riley River area, you sort of head right out around the coast and head up towards Gatton, and then start making a turn. So you have to land probably on the coast, which would still put you within a day or so of the Howling Mountains. But if you went right out around the coast and come back in that way, you're pretty confident that no one would realize that you were trying to circumnavigate. So, all intents and purposes, you leave from the city here. You would fly directly north and out up around the Daigar Forest. You'd probably have to land about here on the first day. So it's your choice whether you land in the forest or on the coast before you start heading back in towards the Howling Mountains.
I would suggest forest.
I
More
was
cover.
gonna say forest too, as well.
Okay, so you head northward out over the ocean. Do you stick to the coastline or go directly across?
Whichever would make me feel most confident. Maybe the coastline instead of just going directly through.
So you keep the coastline within view as you travel. And I say you don't strike any. There's no ballista fire. There's no large birds of prey attacking you as it has been previously, and your travel goes unheeded. You bring yourself into a landing, heading in towards the late afternoon hours, early evening, and you land in a small clearing in the Daigar Forest. This is a forest that some of you know. Ilja, you'd know reasonably well. It's heading towards the sort of northern regions of Paradigm. You've probably spent a little bit of time around here hunting and that in the past. Sadiq, you've probably travelled through here also on occasion. Alessandra's probably not so much. Het, definitely not. You've spent most time in the south. Neymaris, you've never really travelled outside the city apart from after joining the group. So you know of the Daigar Forest, you know where it is. You know roughly, you've heard stories about the creatures that inhabit it, and it's a forest. It's a forest. You've got animals. There could be the occasional troll or orc bandit, orc camp or something like that in the forest potentially, but never really had too many hassles. So you come in, you land. Jeebus. And you a light rain starts to fall this evening as you come in and organise yourselves for your first stop, and probably for the first night of rest.
Damn DM rolls.
What DM roll? So it's over to you guys. You've landed. You know
Yeah,
that you...
you would have rolled for the weather, wouldn't you?
Yes, I did.
Damn DM rolls.
It is clouded over and has started to rain. It's not heavy, but...
See what I tell you?
Still got those tents, Allie, in the backpack?
Sure do.
Should be fine.
So you take the time, pitch your tents, get a fire going, and settle in for the evening.
I'd like to look for some mushrooms, please.
Oh God. The fucking mushrooms. I was waiting for it.
Plastic.
Perception check.
Oh fuck, here we go.
As Damaris scouts around the forest for some mushrooms.
15.
15. After about 45 minutes, you find no mushrooms. This particular forest doesn't, the ground cover in that doesn't seem to be as damp and as moist as the surrounding forests of Voland, and there does not seem to be any fungus growing anywhere.
So I'm just gonna sit down by the fire and sulk.
Namaris, have you got problems?
No, I just can't find any mushrooms.
Oh. What do you want mushrooms for?
I look at Het funny. I thought I'd eat them.
You know, I find it weird. For someone who likes mushrooms so much, why don't you just buy mushrooms and have them in a pack in your bag, like rations, so you can have them when you want, just in case you can't find them?
Well, that's probably not a good idea. That's probably not a bad idea. But they're always best fresh out of the ground.
Oh, well, if you leave, like if you open your pack, empty your pack out, right? And then in the bottom of your pack, you put like a little wooden dish or, I don't know, like pottery, fill it with dirt, and then plant mushrooms in there. You can cultivate mushrooms in your pack. I mean, dead things in your pack, it just procreates on its own.
Yeah, you'd know a lot about dead things in your pack.
Oh, I wasn't meaning like that. I was meaning... I thought we'd let this go.
We did.
It's really like putting your foot in your mouth, don't you, Het?
I'm trying to tell Namaris she can grow mushrooms in her pack. Scully, help me out here.
Washed though. I think. Maybe I'll get some dried mushrooms next time. That's actually not a bad idea.
There
Then
you go.
You just put them in a dish with some water and, become less dried mushrooms, and then
Or mushroom soup.
there you go.
But be careful what kind of mushrooms you get though, because I've had the odd one where I've had these really, really weird dreams.
So I cast minor illusion and make all these mushrooms appear around the Maris.
Would I realize? I don't know.
Well, you're all sitting together. It's a somatic. It's got a Vocon somatic component. So you'd see Ellie make a perception check. See if you can notice Ellie casting it.
That'd be 11.
Yeah, I'd say probably not. with an 11, you'd probably you wouldn't notice the casting of the spell, and with an 11 perception, you probably wouldn't even notice the mushrooms. To be honest. Not right now.
Push her over.
Yeah, so you haven't noticed anything weird.
Hey, Namaris, what's that over there?
Ooh. Oh look, it's a mushroom.
Several, in fact.
Are you
try
gonna
and pick
touch
them?
Yep.
So she reaches out to try and pick the mushroom, and as you do, your hands just pass through it.
I just kind of walk past Ellie, put my foot out and just push her over.
Doesn't
Not
do
in
any
a
damage.
nasty way,
Yeah, it doesn't do
but-
any damage, but it topples you over. Like you're sitting, you might be sitting cross-legged or your hands are across your knees, and she just shoves you off balance.
And
Oh,
I'm
look.
giggling as I fall.
The ground's gone funny on you, Ellie.
So,
The hell?
before the end of the day, and you all turn in, is there anything you wish to achieve?
I want some mushrooms.
I have an herbalism kit. Does that contain any like herbs, mushrooms, such and such?
No, it is more herbs and things like that, and they're definitely for making concoctions, salves, and potions and such.
I have
So.
a question. Some time back, I remember someone making stuff grow.
That was a long time back, and it takes 8 hours to cast.
Okay.
It's all right. It's okay. I'm fine. I was just giving it a bit of stick.
Nice remembering though.
Namaris, what type of boots are you wearing?
Boots.
Leather boots.
Leather boots.
I guess if you kick them off, there could be some fungus between your toes.
Blech. My toes are nice and clean, thanks, heck, because I bathed and I look at you.
Do you
No, no,
bathe your... I don't wear boots. Do you bathe your boots?
I bathe my feet.
My point stands. Wet and leather. I can see fungus, I'm sure. Nonetheless, I'm happy to take first watch if you all wish to get some sleep.
Who is going to take second?
I'll take second.
And
Yeah,
third.
I'll join.
Take
Namaris.
second with Namaris. And who's going to take last watch? Sadiq, Fiala. You only do left.
I guess I'll do last watch.
Okay. So, you eat, you have a few drinks, if you so choose, water, coffee, alcohol if you've got it. Mark off rations as well for a day's rations for you that need to. And you turn in for the evening. Het, you remain up. After a few hours, the rain does stop. Get a bit of a misty sort of fog in the air on the night air. It's still damp-ish in the forest with the wet trees and the wet ground as the sort of night sort of draws in. You need to roll a perception check for me, please.
Alrighty.
With you, it'd be an advantage because you have super night vision with your
That is true.
warlock ability.
Good, because my second roll was much better. 21.
21. You do a couple of small patrols around the campsite, having a look around. You hear occasional crow or some form of bird in the distance, owls. You at one point you think you might have heard a bear sort of pass close to the camp. Didn't seem to be worried by you guys. By now you're reasonably experienced at camping and don't leave food out or anything like that, so it didn't seem to be bothered by you too much. But apart from that, your watch went pretty much without incident. Is there anything you wish to do while you're on your watch?
Yeah, just before the end of my watch comes, before I wake up, the next Ali and Namaris, Het sits down with Scully by the fire, feeling that everything's pretty safe, and he says a short prayer to the Steel Lady, basically in remembrance of his family that have now passed on, and just asking the Steel Lady for her blessing in the war to come, basically.
And as you sit there in quiet contemplation, asking for the Steel Lady's blessing, you get that feeling of warmth sort of comes over you. Not from the fire, it's comes from somewhere else. And as you sit there and sort of think on your family, the face of your mother and father sort of flash in your memory, your brothers, and not just them, just the thought of the other citizens of Anis that were also displaced or killed during that attack. But the feeling and want to go home and properly deal with the remains of your family is strong. You know that they haven't been, probably haven't been buried in your family's ritualistic way. They've probably been interred in a different way, or not interred at all. They've probably been put somewhere. You're not entirely sure what has actually happened with them. So that is playing heavily on your mind as well.
Okay. And lastly, Het stands up with Scully. He walks over to Yildri's tent. And is Yildri's tent, do we leave our tents open or is it closed up?
It's up to Ildri.
Closed.
Het, it doesn't matter if it's open or closed anyway. Het reaches into her tent carefully and quietly and just puts his hand on her feet if he can.
Roll a stealth check for me as you try not to wake her up.
He is not trying to wake her up, but he's not trying to be super secret either.
Okay, roll a perception check, Ildri, with disadvantage because you are asleep.
Thirteen.
13. I would say she stirs. Not enough to wake, but she you probably find she's got ticklish feet, and and she kind of stirs as you touch her foot.
And with that, it casts false aura on her. So now anything that is trying to perceive her or scry on her will lose its taste because she is coming across as celestial and not as dragon of any kind.
Okay.
Or elf of any kind.
And how long does that last?
24 hours.
Nice. Make a note of that so we don't realize that if anyone is trying to perceive dragon folk or scry on Ildri, they are unable to do so for the next 24 hours. You succeed.
It will wake Namaris now.
And yes, so Namaris and Alessandros are taking the next watch, so you wake them. And you head to your own tent to sleep.
Will do. Namaris, get up. He gives her a kick. Come on.
I open one eye. Did you just kick me? Why did you kick me?
I was trying to wake you up and you were very solidly asleep.
I look at him and I'm like, oh, right then. And I get up and
Well,
get my armor back on. Well,
you're
my
lucky
stuff.
because if you were Alessandros, I would have peed on you.
I'll just go and pick up Ali and drag her out. Of her
He's
tent.
going to grab her feet and drag her out of the tent.
Head goes to his tent while she does it so he doesn't look guilty at all.
So Alessandros, you all of a sudden get a dragging feeling as your feet are grabbed and you're pulled out of your tent and rudely awaken.
What's going on? What?
It's alright,
Oh.
I've got. I'll
It's
put the
you.
coffee on.
It's you.
Oh, it's me. It's me.
Could you have woken me up any easier?
No.
Okay.
That's a negative.
This is because I did a practical joke on you.
Yay!
Okay.
But that's alright. I'm gonna make us some coffee, okay?
Okay.
I don't trust the stuff that Het put there, so.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
So, you guys, is there anything you guys wish to achieve during your watch before we make our rolls?
I just want to admire his new bow. Her new bow.
And Alessandros, you would actually notice by this stage, the clouds have somewhat cleared and the moon is out. It is not bright, but it is bright enough that you think you'd be able to replenish your stock of arrows.
So I me bow and hold on to it and sit just away a bit from the fire so it's not as bright. Just hold the bow.
Yep. And you notice as you do so, under the moonlight, the runes that are inscribed on this bow all start to glow in a silvery white light, one by one, as you sit there for the next hour. And you may now replenish your arrow stock back up to a maximum of 50. Namaris, if you were sitting there watching too, you'd notice the runes light up as she pulled the bow out and held it under the moonlight as well.
Very pretty.
And the one thing you do notice is no bowstring. It's just a bow.
How does it work?
Well, I could show you, but
You don't
it
have to
will-
release the. You don't have to release the arrow. You can
alright,
draw
alright.
it and not release it.
Alright. You might want to cover your eyes a little bit. I think it gets a bit bright.
Kind of. How's she gonna see if she's got her eyes covered?
I can
I-
see
I-
through my fingers.
I said a little bit. I get the bow and pretend to draw it back.
As Ellie holds about in front of her like she normally would with a regular bow, grabs where the bowstring would normally be on a bow. I mean, you as a city guardsman, you've fired a bow, you know what a bow does, and she grabs where the bowstring would normally be. And the moment she draws back and grasps the imaginary bowstring, a bowstring appears, a radiant bowstring. As she gets to full draw, the arrow then appears, not super slowly, but sort of starting at the fletching, working
Like
down the
that.
shaft to the point. She holds it there for a moment. It is relatively bright, not too bright that it hurts your eyes, but it is relatively has that yellowy white radiant glow, and then she slowly
She's pulling
releases it.
I'm ducking. I'm ducking.
Do you release the bow, or do you slowly redraw
after
it?
the noise it made at the guild house, I'll just ease it back in.
And as you do so, the arrow, as you release from full draw, the arrow disappears, and then when you get back to resting position, the bowstring also disappears. Shut up, you guys. Bloody assholes.
So that's actually quite impressive. So is that what made all the noise the other night at the guild house?
Morning.
Yes. Yes. That morning, that was me. I'm sorry for that.
That's all right. I was just worried that somebody might have jumped on you.
Well, actually, someone did jump on me.
I wonder who that was. I was protecting you.
Thank you again for that. Just look next time. Don't charge in, please.
That's just all right. So that's no fun, but okay.
Wow.
So, with that, perception checks, please. Do you both have dark vision? I know Ellie's got her goggles on.
No.
You don't have dark vision, Amaris?
Actually,
Or do you not have your goggles on?
hang on. Let me go back to my trades again. Where was it? It's already here somewhere. Where did I see it? Hello.
17.
Oh, really? I've got to go to there. Okay. Nope, I still don't have it. Damn it.
You still don't have what? Dark vision?
Yes.
I know, you got goggles. You don't need dark vision.
Well, next level I get it.
Okay. Just remember that.
I
So,
will.
perception check from you both, please. If you don't have dark vision, it'll be at disadvantage.
Sorry, I didn't mean to say that out loud.
No one heard you anyway,
Okay.
because you weren't actually talking into your microphone when you said it.
You know what? I went from a 17 to I am so freaking blind I can't even see my hand in front of my face 3.
So
Yeah,
Namaris,
it was the bow. I'm sorry.
yeah,
it was the
Namaris
bow.
is a little bit sort of put it. She's enamored with the bow and has got white spots in front of her eyes from the bright light of the bow, and just can't seem to focus on anything else. So you don't really notice a whole lot. Alshana, your roll, please.
23.
23. With a 23, all the animals of the night can be heard by you. Your keen sight, you manage to spy an owl a few trees over, hooting in the distance, and it's nothing unusual. This forest seems relatively peaceful. You do hear the growl of some beast off in the distance, and you think at one point during your watch, you think you might have seen a few deer or some creature wander through the forest near the camp. Again, no one seems to be bothering you guys tonight. It seems to be a relatively quiet night. The rest of your watch goes unhindered, unimpeded, and it is now final watch in the wee small hours of the morning. Who is waking Sadiq?
I will.
Of course you will.
I'm gonna crawl into his tent, snuggle up next to him, and go, "You fucking wake up! It's your turn."
So, Sadiq, you have a dream where you must be lying on a beach, and then also you start getting really warm, and then you're suddenly woken with Namaris screaming in your ear, telling you to get up.
Right.
How do you react?
She finds a dagger at her throat.
I just look at him. I'm like, "Can you just get out? Because you're nice and warm, and I just want your spot. So please."
Oh, we hot bunking it now, are we? Okay.
So you're going to steal his tent?
It's
I
a
am.
military term.
Yeah, hot
When
bunking.
there's not enough beds, you hot bunk it so one person gets out, next person gets in. Hence, hot bunk.
So, you are
coffee.
now awake. Namaris is stealing your bed for the evening, or for the rest of the evening.
That's
Is there anything that Sadiq wishes to do during your watch until the sun rises?
no, I'm just gonna make sure my weapons are nice and sharp during it.
So you spend the evening. Do you put your armor on as you wake up? That's the thing, because it takes you a little bit longer than everybody else.
Yeah. I put everything on.
So he jingles and jangles and clanks and clunks while he's putting his armor on, which takes you a little while longer to get to sleep. Namaris Sadiq does put his armor on before he leaves as he leaves the tent, and it's pretty noisy. But you do eventually find sleep. So do you, Alessandros. Sadiq.
Maybe occasionally drop a piece of armor on her foot or something. Oh, sorry.
But you do manage to get your armor on, and as you're sitting on your watch, keeping the fire not roaring, but going enough that you don't have to relight it in the morning, you spend some time polishing and sharpening your sword. Actually, you've got two swords, don't you? You carry two great swords. You keep them both clean and sharp. Daggers as well. I'm not sure if you have a bow or not, but I'm assuming you'd go over the bow, make sure the string is not fraying, it's taut. Just going over your weapons, making sure everything is in good, ready combat order. And a perception check from you for your watch, please. Sadiq has dark vision, don't he?
Yeah, he has dark vision. And it's an awesome 9.
9. So you don't really notice a whole lot. You spend a lot of time focusing on your weapons. Again, you hear the noises of the forest, and the slight breeze picks up towards sunrise as the skies turn from that sort of onyx black into the purples and oranges of a new day. The sun rises and peeks over the trees, hitting the camp with the first rays of sunlight. As your watch closes without incident, and the rest of you start to rouse for the new day. Sadiq, you stoke the fire. I assume you would put on a fresh pot of coffee or a fresh billy of coffee, depending on what you're doing.
Yep.
And prepare yourselves for your next day. Ildri, you would know that you are probably a flight away from where you need to be. You do know that you're probably going to want to come in low and at some distance to try and be more stealthy in your guys' approach. But you're not 100% sure where the camp is either. You know it's at the base of the Howling Mountains somewhere. So it is up to you what you wish to do for this day.
Hit pulls out Scully after he gets his armor on, holds Scully up, opens the top, looks around at the compass and goes, "Damn it!"
What?
Oh, well, it just keeps pointing at you, Yildri. Oh, that's right. And he tweaks it back to the mode it was at yesterday. Northeast, I believe that's, yeah. I've got to stop setting it to searching for hotness. You're looking very celestial today, very heavenly, Yildri, I must say.
Thank you. I have no idea, so.
No, you have no idea that
No.
you have had a spell cast on you?
I give him a kiss on the cheek because he's being very, very nice. But I think should we scout a little to see exactly where the base of this does?
You guys do have a map that you can consult, so that's why I have the map up on the screen at the moment.
Yep.
So do you bring out your map to sort of see roughly where you are and where you need to go?
Yeah. Good idea.
So I was wondering how far can Kilik go to scout out things?
Well, I mean, he can go quite far. It just depends how much communication we have. For the general, I've just got Kilik's stats up in front of me now. Yeah, I mean, he can pretty much go as far as he wants.
Yeah, but I think from memory
I
you
just
would
can't
lose.
contact him
Yeah,
after.
you would not be able to contact him. I think it's after about 120 feet. Or something like that. I'm not sure. There is no actual. They don't give any real specifics on that kind of thing. I know if you were wishing to see through his eyes, it's only like 60 feet or something, isn't it? Or 100 feet. I can't remember.
Because if we're a day ride, I mean, I could land us somewhere close-ish and then either go like as a raven or a pigeon or something in the ground, or maybe click and scout.
How big was this army we're looking for?
It's fairly sizable. The scouts estimated probably between 5,000 and 8,000 foot troops. So it's a good size.
From the air, you would be able to see where roughly they were camping, because it's that big of a group.
Definitely, and even from a sizable, from a distance in the air, like if you were even a couple of thousand feet high, I would say Ildri with her stats would still be able to see it, and they would potentially not be able to see you guys, potentially.
So we could fly around a bit to find where they are, land a distance away, and then hoof it in. Because we'd know exactly where they were, and Het can use his awesome multi-tool skull thing.
Yes.
So we know where we are.
We can always use darkness if we wanted to sneak into.
But darkness has this weird thing called, that stops us from seeing as well.
Fires, campfires.
The darkness wouldn't stop me from seeing.
I said
could
us.
very well
I
start
didn't say
off with,
just
so.
you.
But I could be like, Sadiq, hard right, easy left, over a hill.
Or we could all just play, follow the leader, and you're the leader.
Yes,
I
that
like
could
that
work.
idea.
But that's
yeah.
That's probably something we could do if we're going to approach them during the night, but we're during the day, I think it's pretty straightforward that if a big black spot showed up and was heading towards them, they would know something was up. Not saying it's a bad idea, but probably a little bit later, that'd be a good idea.
We have an idea of which way in which direction their camp is?
Yeah, all you know is that it's at the base of the Howling Mountains, and it was northwest of the city. So you got a rough idea. But the Howling Mountains region is quite big. So I mean, you do have a rough idea. Looking at your map, the city of Bellond is here. Northwest is around sort of this area of the Howling Mountains. You guys camped on the northern side of the Howling Mountains when you went to the mines looking for the Orgrillium. Right, like many months ago, almost a year ago. So you have been in this area, so you got a rough idea of knowledge. So I would even give you guys let's roll intelligence. Everyone roll an intelligence roll. Actually, no, roll history. Sorry. Everyone roll history to see if you can sort of determine roughly where you might think they may camp based on what your knowledge of the area.
16.
16? Alshonus?
I know nothing about this area whatsoever.
26.
Hildry?
That was perception, right? Because I got a 16.
History.
Oh, history. That's 18.
18. Hit.
16.
Yeah, so everyone except for Alashonus would probably get an idea that where you guys camped on the way to the, especially Het, no, Maris especially, because I don't think Sadiq and Fiala were with you at this time. But where you guys camped at the base of the Howling Mountains when you went to the mines, there is a bit of a clearing on the southern side of that, which would be big enough to possibly house a makeshift military camp. There's still a few scattered trees, and they probably would be using trees as cover somewhat, but there is a big enough clearing that would potentially house that many people.
I think we should head towards it. I don't know. Maybe on foot to start off with, because I think we don't want to wear Eildry out.
We want to keep sort of out of sight as well, really.
That's what Head said.
Oh, shit, that reminds me.
That's what he didn't say. What does that remind you of?
Well, no, you reminded me, not the filth we were talking. But that's a good idea, Yildry. We haven't worn each other out in a few days. Nonetheless.
La la la! We don't need to know this.
Yesterday I did a scry with Scully, and I scried on Thorfy again just to see if I could get some better bearings on him. It was, I guess, yeah. I'm talking to everyone here, so just in case they need to go to my notes. So he said he was talking to someone in the middle of a forest or something. He was saying that he had no idea. Sorry, that they have no idea, and he best keep it that way. I don't know who they is. I'm not sure who he was talking to. He said something about all in good time, or when the time is right, he shall reveal all, but not before. And then he said, "Oh, I see my little friend," and he must have noticed the scrying eyeball or me or whatever the fuck it is he sees, and then we basically dropped form. But he did say right before he did that, he said, "If you are a friend, message me." Now, I got all the scrolls of sending yesterday. Would it be pertinent to message Thorfy?
It might be a good idea.
They let him know Namaris is here, too.
Should I do it? Can I do it?
No,
Maybe
you cannot.
Oh, I can't. Oh.
Even with the
Okay.
scroll, you're
Yes, I think
not
it'd be good
proficient
if
with
you did.
Arcana, so... are you proficient with Arcana? No.
No.
So, no, you wouldn't. Unfortunately, you wouldn't have the understand. You'd have to make an intelligence check to see if you could cast it. You could try,
Yeah, nah.
but there would be a check involved.
I wouldn't.
Sorry, Yodri, you were saying something?
Maybe, but Namaris could possibly let him know something that only Namaris knows, to let him know she's okay. And
I'll
that-
whisper something to Hit to let him know to let.
You don't have to whisper it. You can
Or
speak
he know.
telepathically, remember?
Ah, yes, you can.
I will telepathically say something to Hit. I don't know what it is, but you just make it up when you say it to Thorpe.
That's
To
not
let
how
him
you
know
roleplay.
Hit will
So basically, Namaris told Het an embarrassing thing that happened to Namaris when she was a child that only Thorpe would know.
that's the wrong mushroom.
And that's how she got addicted to mushrooms.
Yeah.
So Hit pulls out the sending scroll, opens it up and says, "Are we good? Should I do this walk and talk?"
Talk.
No, because you might miswrite something and then he'll completely not understand what the hell you were saying. Just write it quickly and it'll be done.
Okay, well, I say it. It's like I activate the spell and I speak to him directly, and he speaks back. Not like conversation, but like I give a message.
Oh,
He
so
gives
in
a
other
message.
words, the embarrassing thing that Namaris just told you to tell Thorpe we would hear.
Yes, correct.
She's-
Awesome.
yeah,
So
because
what
he
was
would
the
speak it into
embarrassing
the
thing,
he would speak it
Namaris?
into the
So
spell. Yeah.
Hit, it's
Remember, you only got 25 words ish.
Yeah.
That he threw me up in the air with a spell and he couldn't get me back down again. 'Cause I
Okay.
freaked out.
Did your pants come off?
I may have lost a dress.
Okay. Spell threw you into air. May have lost the dress, and he didn't catch you, and you got brain damage.
He landed in a heap at the end of the desk.
Okay. I need to chop that right down because it's like half the message. I'll figure something. Right, here goes. And Hit.
And you might want to say that you're his little friend.
Thorpe knows who I am.
And we
Oh
can
yes,
use his
sorry,
help.
right. Yes, I know what
Yeah,
you're saying.
because he's keeps on referring to you as
Yes,
your little friend.
yes, with the scrying orb thingy.
Yeah.
Okay, here goes, and Hit casts the spell. He says, "Thorpe, it is I, Hit. Proof. You cast spell on Namaris when she was little, and she lost the dress and fell down.
10 words left. Ish.
I am scrying on you at nights. Message me back." And that is it. That's what he says for now.
After maybe 5 or 6 minutes, you get a reply. Ah, Het. So you are my watchful eye. You say Namaris lives. This is good. I am safe. Do not look for me just yet. I will find you when the time is right.
And it ends there.
And that is what you get back.
Hit relays that as he says it. He says, okay, he's saying he's happy that Namaris is alive. He's gonna find us when the time is right. And he's sweet that I'm like his little buddy that spies on him. Okay, that's good. Big thumbs up, Namaris.
That's good. I'm pleased that he's safe.
But he said he will find us when the time is right. Don't look for him. So, I guess that ticks that box. We don't look for him. There's a clear instruction.
Okay.
You weren't looking for him, really. Hey, were we?
Well, we had plans to, yes. Remember we went off into the forest and we were going underground and blah, blah, blah.
Oh, yeah.
That makes me a little happier. I imagine it's settling for you, Namaris.
That does make me feel a bit better.
Excellent. Well, that scroll's a fucking waste of time now.
You'll find that particular scroll would magically disappear on completion of its final charge.
Ah, sweet.
Saves littering the forest.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, paper's biodegradable, right?
Yes.
Papyrus.
Papyrus, yes.
Okay, so now we can walk and talk to our next destination team.
So you're going to walk for a while before taking flight on this day?
Everybody's ready. I can fly.
What kind of day is it?
It's a little cloudy this morning, but the cloud is thin, so it looks like it'll probably burn off by mid-afternoon.
Probably be safe to walk anyway, seeing how we're so close.
Well, you're within a day and a half's walk of the base of the Howling Mountains. You've managed to take a day off your travel with the half a day's flight. So if you were to walk the rest of the way, it'd still take you about a day and a half. So you can walk for a half a day or a day if you wish, or you can just take. It's up to you guys.
Probably walk half a day, let the troop catch up.
Because you know it's going to take them the full 2.5 days to get into position anyway.
Because we're going to want a distraction either way.
Well, we got to find them first, which will also allow us to tell the army where they are exactly, so they can potentially get there a little bit quicker. Because if it's at the beginning and they go all the way to the end and come back, yeah, it's not going to work. Yeah.
I would also like to, I don't know, if we're scouting this army, like to get vision on this General Soma. That way I can utilize the scrying orb on him. Maybe catch some of the planning.
That would be good.
I need to be able to at least know what he looks like to scry properly.
Do we have telescopes or anything like that?
No,
spyglasses?
do not.
We didn't get any spyglasses before we left.
I should have built one into Scully. That would have been an awesome
I
idea.
do not believe so. Actually, I think Sadiq had one at one point. I remember Sadiq talking about it.
Yeah,
I
I wanted to get one.
I think you wanted to get one, but whether you did or not, I don't know.
I
don't think you did. But I did
There's a lot of
remember you
other
talking
cool
about
stuff.
it. I did remember you talking about wanting to get one made because you hadn't. You would. I think Sadiq had found a crystal or a lens that could that magnified certain things. You looked through it, and you were talking about getting something made that you could do that with. But I don't think you actually did.
I know Fibble also wants to make one too, so.
I do remember Sadiq talking about it early in the campaign, so. So, with that, what is your decision? To fly or to walk?
Did we decide to walk or to catch up the army?
Ildra, you know that you would be able to, in this day of flight, you'd be able to get to the area, and you could probably scout the area from the air without being seen, because you can fly fairly high. And like Sadiq says, an army of that size would definitely make a large footprint in the forest. So, you know that with your abilities, you will be able to get there in probably 4 or 5 hours, 6 hours. And it would give you enough time to scout and then land and make camp for that night, waiting for the force to join you.
Alright, just gonna transform into Eldry if we have enough space and say this will give us time to scout out ahead and wait if we need to.
And carry something just in case you want to drop it.
What?
I'm just going by chat.
I mean, I had a big breakfast. If you're talking about dropping, I mean, it is a weapon, but I mean,
that would probably give away our advantage, however, because we'd have to wait for the army to, hey, let's drop some diarrhea on the army. Woo, now they know where we are, and we still have to wait a day to catch up. I don't know if that's the good idea.
Although dropping a couple of explosives into the camp from a height would be an interesting diversion.
Oh, sweet. Do we have explosives?
We got oil, don't we?
Well, we've got holy oil.
Let me check my
Also,
backpack.
They kind of give away our position, though, too, wouldn't it? I mean,
Yeah, but no, we do it after we've done the scout.
after the fact, yeah.
All right, yes.
Yeah, but when we go in, we do that type thing.
Now, bear in mind, I'm just going to help you guys out here just a little. Bear in mind, you're looking at a force approximately 8,000 strong, and you only have 1,000 men at your disposal for a diversion. Those numbers are not good odds.
Not when you say it like that. It doesn't sound good, does it?
You're looking at an 8 to 1 advantage to the enemy. If you were looking at a full frontal attack, which is what I think you're suggesting with the bombing run of the holy oil.
Oh no, the bombing run was more of a while we're leaving type deal.
Oh, I see. Right.
To weaken them
How about
after taking out the king. Yeah, sorry.
How about I get close, and then I can always wild shape into like an owl and scout out for this Somar. See where he is.
How high can you fly?
Huh?
How high can you fly?
Yeah. How high can I fly?
As a dragon, you can fly extremely high. Like you're looking probably 3,000 or 4,000 feet. Without the rest of you would probably start to find it hard to breathe once getting to that sort of height. But Ildri can definitely, on her own, fly at a fairly serious height. A couple of 1,000 feet for you guys would be okay. Anything higher than that, and the oxygen would start to get a little thin.
No, that we wouldn't see anything anyway.
No,
because too far up.
Exactly.
No, curiosity was just killing me, Ildri, because those two rocks fell a long way and did some major damage to the ground.
That's what I was thinking. Picking something up and dropping it from a great height.
But that's still a force of 8,000 that you would, like Sadiq says, you would want to do it on exit to slow them down. But it's something to think about if it comes time. If we can take out this general, our small force, divert them long enough that we can take out this general, and then on the leave, Yildri with, I don't know, maybe a couple of giant rocks on them, blast us some paralyzing breath, and then we get the fuck out of there.
How good's your dropping accuracy, Fiala?
I never really needed to drop anything. It's just as if you would be throwing something, I guess.
8,000 people, I don't know if you'd miss if you dropped it on the middle of them.
No, I was thinking...
It would depend on the size of the boulder and the height it was dropped.
I'm thinking more direct target.
All right.
I try to take out the commander without actually going into the camp.
Yes.
But you'd have to find out which tent he was in at the time.
Well, that'd be obvious, wouldn't it?
No.
Depends on how shrewd he is.
Well,
he is a commander.
Put it this way. You could drop it on the biggest tent in the camp, but that could also be the mess hall.
I don't think they'd have a mess hall.
Hey, you're a changeling. You could change into one of the soldiers and go report to the commander.
Yeah. I don't really like that idea. What? No trust? Just the way Ali is.
I'm sure she'd be fine. She's a woman now. She's all grown up.
Do these things have legs, or is it just tails?
What things?
I'm meant to be infiltrating.
Well, all you've heard is that it's a mixed race army: orcs, goblins, ogres, and other creatures that they think some of them may look similar to what attacked the city already, the big ape-like creatures. And there could be a mix of races there, but it seems to be predominantly orc, ogre, goblin.
I'll
Well,
fly. You guys talk about it.
yeah,
Get
you
on,
find
and
out
I'll
what's down there.
discuss. So I'm gonna start flying.
No worries. So you all climb aboard, and Fiala, you take Ilja, you take air, and do you ascend to around 2,000 feet to give yourself? You're pretty certain that around 2,500 feet, you're not going to be spotted. You don't expect that they will be looking airborne. If there were scouts, all the scouts would have seen was you leaving the city, and they wouldn't know. Potentially wouldn't know you're coming in. So as you take off and start heading in the direction of the Howling Mountains, I would assume that you'd go still more northward and come in from Gatton side, as opposed to just directly to the southern portion of it. Are you going to fly around that portion of the mountain to attempt to spot the encampment of the enemy army? That is a decision that you need to make.
I briefly discuss with the team on my back and see what their thoughts are as well, since it's get their viewpoint.
Well, if we can get... So, DM just reading up about the Find Familiar and how far it can go.
Yes.
Basically, it doesn't do any stating at all other than
No,
I
it
lose
doesn't.
my telepathic bond with it.
Yeah.
So, I guess I can send him off and he can come back?
I would assume so. I mean,
Okay.
well, I don't know that they'd be able to hold his invisibility out of that range as well. So I'm not 100% sure how that entirely works. Again, it's not very specific. So
I would like to try it, and I guess I'll leave the details to you if that's all right.
Yeah. I'll make a couple of rolls.
I'll as we're getting on, Yildri, he will call forth Killick and give him the instruction just to loosely around the outside, but try and spot this commander so he can get a description back to me if he can.
You don't know where the camp is at this point, so you have nowhere to send Killick just yet.
Yeah, but once we get up in the air, I'll give him the command to go to the camp. Sorry, yeah.
So you need to pinpoint the camp first.
Does that bow that you have, Ali, does that make that massive sound as the arrow hits, or as you loose it?
It was on
I believe
impact.
on impact.
And it wasn't a huge sound. It was just loud enough because you guys were pretty close to it. So
if we let an arrow loose in the middle of the encampment, that should give enough to be a bit of a...
That would alert the immediate area. It wouldn't alert the whole camp. It's not loud enough. It wasn't like a super loud explosion. If that's what you're thinking.
Okay.
It was loud enough to wake you guys,
Just
but
enough
not loud
to be
enough.
distraction.
Yeah, it's
Maybe
possible.
often in the woods, so they'd go that way. Still flying.
Yes. So you still got a decision to make.
Yeah, I'll take the way around. The one they're least expecting, hopefully.
Yeah. No, we established that as, are you going to attempt to pinpoint the camp from the air, or are you going to try and do it from the ground?
Try and do it from the air.
Yeah.
I'll try. Yeah.
Okay. So, you fly for the next few hours. Your passengers and you discuss your course of action. As you approach the Howling Mountains, you see them in the distance. You get closer and closer, and you start circling around the northern side of the mountains, coming in from the opposite side of where you think this camp may be, based on the information that Het and Amaris had given you with their knowledge of the area. Roll a perception check for me, please, Eldri. Your passengers probably will not be able to see, so there's no point in making the check. So just Eldri alone with dragon stats.
That's a 9 plus 16, 25.
25. With a 25, you do at about you sort of flying around about 2,300 feet, and you make your first pass, and you spot a series of tents. Not as many as you thought you might see for an army of that size, but then again, do ogres need tents? Do these demon creatures need tents? But there is a large encampment, a large force, if you will. Smaller tents grouped up in one area, then a break, and then some other tents, and then another tent. And there's sort of scattered tents around the trees in this clearing. But you're pretty certain with that check that is what you're looking for. And you definitely have the skill and knowledge to set yourself down at a reasonable distance and offer instruction to Het so that he may seek and collect in for a closer look.
And
So
with
do
that,
you
I
descend?
and then as I'm descending, tell them what I have seen with the tents and land safely. And I'll probably shapeshift to be yellow once I.
Okay. So as you land, roughly how far away from the camp would you say? I mean, you would know a safe distance. Probably it would be a few hundred feet. I mean, you'd come in low, out of line of sight, and in the trees. So
200,
probably
150, 200.
So 200 or so feet from the outside of this camp. So you land, and you can do so quietly. I mean, even though dragons are quite large, they're also very skillful at their landings and takeoff. So, you've landed. Ildri has reformed into her humanoid form. And you now have some information. You know roughly where this camp is from your current position. Het, you are going to bring forth Kalek and send him on a bit of a mission.
Yeah, so I pull forth Click and I say to him, look, keep invisibility up as best you can. Fly around, just scout the edges, see if you can spot any snake-like-ish people. Get a clear direction of them in your mind, and then come back to me. You won't be able to telepathically say a damn thing, but where you go, quietly, if anything happens, just void out.
And he poofs into invisibleness, and as far as you know, he's taken off.
Sweet.
He, probably about an hour later, as you wait, and he then returns to you, and from his invisible place in the void, doesn't become revisible, but he basically, you feel him land on your shoulder in his invisible form. And as he joins you, into your mind he projects what he has seen. As he flew out towards the camp, he first spied a large gathering of orcs and ogres. Definitely, there was definitely a lot of orcs and ogres in this encampment. A lot of goblins being ordered around by the orcs. Ogres are being ordered around by orcs, and some looks like maybe drow as well. Darker skinned elves seem to be involved here also. Some large creatures with chains attached to them, staked to the ground. They seem to be very bestial, very wild, having large chunks of meat thrown at them to keep them sort of semi-happy. He did find more humanoid creatures, but he was unable to find anything that looked like a snake. There were more well-dressed humanoids at a separate, not so much separate from the camp, but in another series of tents towards the north. There were several of them, and he did see a couple of giants also.
Het sort of telepathically tells him he did a good job, and then puts him back in the void for now.
Okay. So from that, you get the sense that the tents in the north are probably more the ranking officers or some form of higher ranking people than those in the lower regions of the camp. Unfortunately, he was unable to determine who was who or who was in charge. but there are definitely several higher-ranking people in the north of the camp.
Yeah, hit relays that to the team. Yeah, guys, it looks like the northern tents are officers, maybe. Everything else is like workmen. Kelek did not see any snake man or snake people of any description, but notably there are giants and drow amongst them as well.
Did you say drow?
Yes, the dark elf variant. Lovely, quiet people, if I remember rightly. That's a joke.
So with that, I changed my shape into one of the drow, similar to one of the drows that we had
Okay.
fun with.
Yes, you do remember the which one, male or female? You've
I'll
seen
go
both.
I'll go the female because when we fought, there was a female in charge. So
It was.
with
Yes.
that theory,
It's an interesting theory, but okay, so you change your form into one of the triplets that you guys fought, former leaders of the Black Fang, and right before your eyes, Alashonus now looks exactly like the drow woman that you fought and killed.
so
Specifically
what do you
hit, specifically Sadiq actually finished, got the killing blow on that particular individual. It's a little unnerving, Sadiq, to see this person that you've recently killed standing before you.
Not the first time I've seen Ellie do it.
No, but it's still a little unnerving, though. It's kind of
So,
weird, more than
Do you
unnerving.
think this will work? Anybody?
Very
I think
clever.
so.
And she sounds exactly like her as well. That slight French accent coming through.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
No, you don't have to. You don't have to. I wouldn't expect you to do that. But just a very slight French accent coming through. But she sounds exactly like... I can't remember her name offhand, but she does sound exactly like her and looks exactly like her.
Ellie, you just have to say, oh, ha, ha, every time you finish a sentence.
Mon ami.
Oh.
That works.
That's it. Perfect, every time.
Yeah.
That was a good idea. I think that's one of the best ideas you've ever had.
I still like dropping something on them and be more effective. But hey,
Maybe on the way out. On the way.
I-
That's the
I,
piece de resistance. Yes.
because by the way Het was speaking, there's a hierarchy in there. So I didn't want to go something small.
Yeah, good idea. It seems to be, from what Kelek sort of let me know, is there are some humanoid creatures that are more well dressed, and I believe, yes, the drow. I'm more worried about the giant. Or giants.
Giants.
Say there was a couple.
It's
What do we know
multiple.
about giants?
Well, they are very big.
But are they clever?
I don't know.
Roll a history check. No, Morris, you wouldn't know anything about giants.
Natural
But-
fucking one.
Neither does
I
he.
got a natural 20, take away 1, so it's a 19.
You wouldn't know anything about giants anyway.
No, what a waste of a 20.
That's why you don't roll until I tell you. But yeah, no, unfortunately, giants aren't really prevalent in Paradigm, so it's actually unusual to even see them in here.
Fiela, with your many years of experience, would you know anything about giants?
I did have the snow giants,
Yes,
even though they
uh,
were spectral.
they were spectral giants. I mean, you've got an understanding of what giants are per se, but again, you would know that they just don't generally. You just don't really normally see them here on the material plane. Well, not here in Paradigm. I mean, other places definitely, but giants haven't been around in Paradigm for centuries.
I would kind of stay quiet around the giants. I mean, especially if you're a drow, just try to look for the Yuan-Ti.
So, Alessandrus, what is your plan?
Getting in there for starters, working out how. Probably try to sneak in might probably be the best.
I'm trying to find the name of this of the triplets so I can give you your name.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't want to use that.
Well, things you don't know. Well, not all drow know each other, so that much.
Okay.
You should be okay.
Do you need a partner? Like, I could be a mouse in your pocket.
I wrote them down somewhere.
That sounded like a friggin' awesome idea.
Just in case.
Don't sneeze and turn into a dragon.
Little mouse fart.
Or a pet vicious wolf.
Yes.
What would they have?
Or badger or anything. Yeah.
A spider.
Beaver, you know.
A spider.
I'm afraid if I turn into a little spider, you squish me.
I wasn't talking about a little spider.
I think they'd notice that.
Walrus. Oh my god, people.
What do I know about the drow? Anything in particular apart from the ones that we fought?
Roll a intelligence check because you've never dealt with them in your past. But you may have remembered something from your interactions.
Yeah, I know fuck all about them. 10.
10, okay. Kendra is the name of the drow woman. So, no, you don't really know a whole lot about drow. About all any of you know and things you've probably read and the stories you've heard is that they are generally from the Underdark. They do not generally come to the surface all that much. So to bring drow to the surface, aid either being paid very, very well, or they may not be what they seem to be. Yes, UNT, Mr. Sadiq is correct. So, what are we doing, guys?
I'm going to regret saying this. You could always be a mount.
It's just like headset again. All right.
Hang on, what?
Nothing. A bear? Can you ride a bear well? How about a
What
wolf?
do drow normally ride?
Yeah, it's Underdark, so Underdarkish things.
Funnily enough,
They're not actually in the Underdark, they're on the surface, so...
would it not be a spider?
Spider? I think we're going back to spider. Or a snake?
They do spiders or...
Spider it is.
Could just be a
does
flea
anyone
in
know
her ear.
Anyone know anything about drow apart from me?
They die easy?
Apart from that,
A little creature that you can't see in her hair.
Hey, there you go. I'll be a mouse. What about a raven on your shoulder? You can just carry him on your shoulder. That's creepy and dark, right?
Yeah, you could be a one-eyed raven.
actually, I like that. A raven it is then.
Raven, I go.
So,
Land on his shoulder.
Ildri transforms into a raven, lands on Alessandros' shoulder, and in your drow form, what are you doing? You're going to make the 150, 200 feet trek towards the camp?
Yeah.
You're going to try and sneak in? Or are you going to go in the front door, in the front gate? It's not really walled off, but there are sentries posted and things like that, so...
Wait, before you go. I didn't tell you, Ildri. It's not a major, but last night when you were sleeping, I cast a spell on you. And she's in bird form, so I'm talking in animal language, that's
Okay.
fine. It changes your aura, so they cannot detect that you are a dragon. But if they try to detect you now, for God knows what reason, they would detect you as celestial instead of a raven. So I will reactivate my spell to make you test out as an animal.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
I
cool.
do that. So for 24 hours, she'll just check out as an animal.
No problem.
That's probably a better thing to do anyway.
I'll more than likely go through the front door.
So you're going to head for the front of the camp and the main entrance to the
Because
camp.
if I
fuck up on a stealth check, it's gonna look bad.
You want to look like you actually belong there.
Exactly. So through the front door.
If you see a sentry slacking off, tell him off.
Can I just say that you know that ravens are about the size of a small dog, eh?
No, they're not. They're not
Yeah,
that
they
big.
are. They
A small
are.
dog. A small dog is a small dog, not a big dog. So that's fine.
They're not little.
Yeah, they're not huge birds either.
Yeah,
They're a decent size.
They are a
they're
decent
not
size.
huge.
Never seen them in real life, then.
I have.
I just think of the ones at the Tower of London. They're huge.
And your point?
Is you wouldn't be able to carry it on your shoulder?
Why wouldn't she?
We're talking about smaller type bird.
Okay. Sorry, that's metagaming, but I was thinking shit.
It
that's
is
not big.
metagaming, so in this world it doesn't really make much difference anyway.
Sorry.
What? A kookaburra? Oh my god! Now all I've got is that cackle in my head. Now all I've got is the sound of the kookaburra in my brain. So a raven that sounds like a kookaburra.
Oh no, that was Yanti. Oh.
Wow. Anywho,
100%.
back to the game. So, Alessandros, you with your raven friend on your shoulder start heading towards the encampment. As you approach the makeshift encampment, like I said, hasn't got walls as such, but it has got sharpened stakes around the outside, like they've made almost like bollards out of trees. You can see where they've felled trees, cleared trees, and they've got a makeshift sort of perimeter, which looks like it's patrolled by orcs here and there. And as you approach, you have an ogre and an orc guarding the main entrance. You're about 50 feet out. The ogre is standing there. He looks like he's holding a large club, just looks like a tree branch. But the orc is standing. He's got a crossbow in hand, a heavy crossbow. It's loaded and drawn, ready to fire. And so it's now up to you what you do. Do you continue to approach?
Can I discern whether they're slouching or anything like that?
The ogre's kind of slouching, but that's kind of ogreish. I mean, he's big, bulky. Like the ogres are about 15, 16 feet tall, large beings. So he's sort of not slouching per se, but they hold themselves in a different way to an orc. But the orc is he looks definitely full orc. He's not half orc or anything like that, but he is very much alert and watching. And by this point, he probably spies you, and you can see him slowly starting to raise his bow. What do you do?
With authoritarian command, I said, "Put that crossbow down. Don't you know who you're dealing with?"
The orc, the orc sort of. Are you continuing to approach as you do this?
Yeah. Yes.
You're holding yourself in a very authoritative way as you approach the orc. Roll a persuasion check for me with advantage. Actually, no, not persuasion. Deception with advantage.
Ah, okay. Well, crap. Okay, with advantage. Yep. Come on, next. Give me next. Yeah, that's not good.
He's still the bow's still raising at this point.
So with advantage, 12.
Yep, 12. Ooh,
That's
quick
good.
roll here.
Fun. Low. Please roll low.
The orc turns to the ogre and says, "Watch this one. Don't trust her." The ogre turns, looks down at the orc, then looks over at you and goes, "All right then, and I'll watch him. It smells like meat. And raises the shoulder to shoulder the large branch that it's carrying. An orc says, "State your business. Why are you here?
Here to see your commander.
And who are you? I don't know you.
My name's Kendra, and that's all you need to know.
Is that right? And where do you come from, Kendra?"
I have word of an assault happening.
What kind of a... We're going to have an assault. What are you talking about?
I need to see your commander. Let me in so I can talk.
He sort of looks over at the orc, looks at you, puts his crossbow down, reaches to his side and pulls out a horn, like a cow's horn, puts it to his lips and blows it. We're going to kill them. 2 times. And the ogre steps forward and reaches out to grab you. I need you to make a dexterity saving throw, please.
20.
Natural 20 on my roll, which gives me a strength of 25. So unfortunately, the orc reaches...
Can I do I suppose the dex save was a reaction, wasn't it?
The dex save was your reaction to reaching out to try and grab you. So unfortunately, you have failed.
Yeah.
So the ogre, reaches out and wraps one large, very sweaty arm and fingers around your body, closing its fists around you. And because you're not overly large, and even in the drow form you're not very big, this ogre manages to clutch you in its fist. You are now grappled and unable to move. Fiela, at this point, you were still in raven form. What do you do at this point?
Can I?
With my free action, I use the earring until...
You still have to speak with the earring, so they will still be able to hear you. The earring's not a telepathic link, it has to be spoken.
Alright, then with that, I just say, fly.
Oh, that's
I
gonna give me
can't
the eyes.
fly, I got wings. I caught you, though. You're coming with me. And he picks you up.
I'm gonna fly back to the party like he wanted me to, I'm assuming.
Okay, and with that is where we're going to call tonight's session, ladies and gentlemen. Alessandrus has now been captured by the enemy. Sort of.
Dice rolls.
Dude, man, I rolled 2 rolls.
Yeah, alright.
And like I said, I was rolling with disadvantage on that because of reasons, and I got a natural 20 on both. It never happens. But 26 on the strength check, man. It's crazy. So unfortunately, Ellie, you've now been captured by an ogre and a nice sweaty, gross palm.
That's cool.
So, ladies and Germanies, that is end of our session this evening. We will call it there, but we'll thank you very, very much for hanging out with us tonight, as always. And players, thank you very much for joining us for another session and making it through episode 64 of our story.
Roasted to be happy now.
So, as per tradition, we will go around our crew and get some moments from this evening. There has been a few, as always. We'll start with Maris tonight.
Oh, I have to admit, I found Het's compass fiddling thing was funny.
His fiddling? Oh, yes.
You know, when he said, oh, yep. Why didn't you do? Because you're hot.
Definitely.
Thanks, Het.
Chat also, too. If you've got any moments, at me in the chat and I'll read them out. If you've got any moments from tonight's session. definitely let me know. Alessandros, one from you, please.
Yeah, like Drax just said, the bed sharing or swapping, as the case may
Oh,
be.
the hot bunking.
Yes.
It was definitely an interesting moment, indeed. And Sadiq, a moment from you, please.
Probably the same one, actually, the hot bunk. That's a moment.
It just sounds wrong, doesn't it? Hot bunk.
Yeah. But it works.
Yeah, it sounds wrong, but it works, definitely. Fiela. Or Ildri. God damn it.
I like the interaction with Ali and Namaris with the mushrooms and the bit of banter back and forth. That was funny.
Yes, that was pretty cool too. And Head.
Mine came from, I think it was Brett and Hart, that they know that we know that they know that we know. that I thought that was a good, and
Yes.
yeah, your moment there.
I had to throw it in there. You couldn't have done it moment without it, really.
It was well timed. It was perfectly laid in there. So,
well, thank you very much. And for me tonight, it was probably Ali's idea of the drow idea. Actually, the choice to shapeshift into the drow and attempt to get into the camp, although it has not exactly worked out exactly how they planned. But even
There's
just
still
again,
time. There's
there is
still time.
anything could happen. I mean, you never know.
these are just dumb gatesmen.
You can still potentially talk your way out of it. You do not know. So, yeah, so that was pretty cool. I mean, that whole thing. But again, the role play tonight was pretty cool across the board, as always. We didn't really get too far in the story, which is great. So we might get another 10 or 12 episodes out of this yet, depending on how things go.
I will slow it right down.
That's the idea. So anyone else in the chat? Do we have any other moments from tonight that has stood out for you particularly? Before we look at potentially raiding somebody. If you have anyone you would like to raid, let me know. We generally like to do a D&D stream. We've got, who is on tonight? There's a few D&D streams running tonight. Preferably someone we don't already follow. We got another New Zealand one here, Mary Chrysler, a D&D adventure, which is a Kiwi, Lady Cat 79, 2 viewers. Let's check them out.
Give them some loving.
We'll wait for the ad to finish, then we'll quickly check them out. So, as far as the stream goes, we'll be back again Wednesday night for D&D, the Curse of Strahd, as usual. Tomorrow night I might do some Call of Duty if anyone wants to come hang out and do some pew-pews. I might do some Warzone or some hardcore TDM if anyone's keen. Short of that, I'm not sure about Tuesday night. I'm working, but I'll finish at 7:30, so we might still do something Tuesday night. I mean, we'll see what Yanti's up to. We might do some Night of the Dead if that's working. If that's not working, Warframe, Dying Light, something. We'll figure something out. See what everyone else is up to. Thanks, Trash, for the shout out. We've got a shout out for Magic the Gamer, as always, who is generally still doing Assassin's Creed. So go check out Magic, go check out Yanti, go check out Roasted Chicken. Check out everybody. Just go follow everyone and do the things and the stuff. So this stream, let's check them out.
And Frosty's snow
No
starts to
cams,
get a little bit more
but they're
balloon.
doing, looks like a Christmas.
Makes more sense. Like it was like
A Christmas
really cloudy right before,
D&D.
not sort of like freezing off and started looking a bit more like cold hard ice at the moment.
Yeah, I was thinking that. Nah, I'm not down for Christmas.
Christmas D&D, no, wrong.
No,
wrong.
it's just it's just not right. D&D of Deserts and Devils.
Well, that sounds interesting.
We'll check that one out. They got
12
8
non-magical
viewers.
damage.
So it's 20.
That's
been going. So they've been going for like 4 hours already. They might be due to finish.
Non-magical damage for the crit.
Okay.
I want to raid someone that's due to finish. Let's just raid someone we know.
Right,
Marcus
really
is playing Escape from Tarkov.
She has an armor class of 18, right?
C's playing.
Yes.
Scourge is playing Cyberpunk.
Crit.
I will go raid Marcus. He's a Kiwi. And he's playing some Escape from Tarkov. So that is it for us tonight, ladies and germs. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Appreciate it very, very much. We're going to raid Marcus in Z. Cool dude. He's a Kiwi. Plays a lot of Tarkov. Used to play a lot of PUBG and that as well. Make sure you hit him up with a follow. And hang out with him if you can. If you can't, no worries. Leave a tab open for him. Whatever you need to do. But we will see you again, if not tomorrow night, on Wednesday for some more D&D. Bye.